During military training, all the male students were competing to give water to the campus belle. Only I was staring with gleaming eyes at the pile of ice-cold drinks on the ground. After a moment's hesitation, I still picked up a bottle of plum-flavored green tea from the ground. Then, with an expectant look, I looked towards the campus belle. Do you want this water? Xia Sidao was stunned for a moment, then a look of disgust appeared on her face. She subconsciously thought I was trying to re-gift something to curry favor with her. This guy can be a spare tire if he wants, but he's not even willing to spend money on a single bottle of cold water. He's even trying to use someone else's water to win me over. Thinking of this, Xia Sidao shook her head and said coldly, I am not drinking it. I have my own water. That's great. Then, after saying that, I immediately opened the bottle cap and downed the green tea in one gulp. This plum-flavored one. So refreshing. Drinking a bottle during summer military training. Such a big cold drink. I felt like I was instantly fully healed. Seeing this, Xia Sidao was immediately stunned. This guy could actually take the water someone else gave her and just drink it himself. He really was just asking me if I wanted to drink it. At this moment, I picked up a bottle of energy drink and continued to ask Xia Sidao. Xia Sidao stood there stunned, subconsciously shaking her head, with a somewhat dazed expression. Just like that, in front of Xia Sidao, I drank more than 10 bottles of water from the ground, and not far away, the foolish group of spare tires saw me drink all the water they bought, and they all clenched their fists, looking at me angrily. Congratulations, host, for completing the mission. Receive the money blessing reward. From now on, for every minute that passes, the host will receive a 10 yuan reward. Hearing the system's voice, I let out a burp. The corners of my mouth couldn't help but curl up. I ignored the angry glares from the group of spare tires and strode off the sports field, heading towards my dorm and watching my departing back. In Xia Sidao's heart, her interest in me grew even stronger. I had just returned to the dorm when my 3 roommates immediately surrounded me with their phones. Brother Jiang Chen, you're famous. After saying that, they threw a phone in front of me. On the phone screen was displayed the Jiangcheng University Forum, and the top trending title was extremely prominent, utterly shameless. Someone else gives water to the campus belle. This guy turns around and drinks it all. The photo taken at the scene was perfectly timed, deeply showcasing my despicable face, alongside Xia Sidao's unparalleled beauty. The two of us formed a stark contrast, like a toad next to a white swan, and the person who posted this, judging by the camera angle, was probably one of the spare tires who gave her water. They deeply exposed my despicable behavior in the post, attracting a crowd of upper and lower classmen to condemn it. Without exception, they all condemned my actions. Some people even came up with a conspiracy theory, saying that I was taking a different approach, intentionally doing it just to attract the campus belle's attention. I didn't have much of a reaction to this. With an annual income of over 100 million, why would I care about these things? Right now, what I need to do is figure out how to quickly spend 100,000 yuan to upgrade the system. The 15 days of military training passed quickly. During military training, there was no time to go out. Now that military training is over, of course, I have to go out and spend some money. So I invited my 3 roommates out for hot pot. We had just sat down at the hot pot restaurant when my roommate, Li Xiaodong, suddenly said, "Oh, right. My younger sister is a beauty at our school." I just texted her, telling her to bring her roommates over. You guys don't mind, do you? My other 2 roommates' eyes immediately lit up like stars, saying it was no problem. Seeing that, I didn't say anything. Having girls come over for a meal is definitely a good thing. While waiting, we started chatting. Eventually, the topic unconsciously shifted to me. Jiang Chen, I heard that in the following days of military training, Campus Bellic Xia kept looking at you. Didn't you two exchange contact information? I picked up my teacup, took a sip, and then said with a smile, I am waiting to become young master Li's brother-in-law. How could I dare to ask for some other Campus Belly's WeChat? Liu Yu suddenly saw a beautiful figure and said to me, Old Jiang Chen, look quickly. Isn't that your target? I followed the direction Liu Yu was pointing, and quickly saw a few girls who had just come in from outside. Among them was Xia Sidao. Next to her were a few other girls. One of them looked somewhat like Li Xiaodong. She was pulling Xia Sidao over. At this moment, Xia Sidao also made eye contact with me. We were both stunned. Xia Sidao had a look of shock and disbelief. She never expected to meet this guy again under such circumstances. I looked at her expression and couldn't help but grin. It seems she and I are really fated to meet. Li Xiaodong was about to explain something I really didn't know. Before he could finish, he was interrupted by a girl. Brother, what didn't you know? No. Nothing. Li Xiaodong still had a forced smile on his face, but he quickly returned to normal. He stood up to make room for the 3 of them. As soon as they sat down, Xia Sidao's eyes were fixed on me, as if she wanted to confirm whether the guy in front of her was the same guy who drank all her water. It wasn't until she sat down that Xia Sidao finally spoke. What a coincidence. Hearing Xia Sidao's words, my 3 roommates understood perfectly in their hearts, but Xia Sidao's roommates were a bit confused. Sidao, do you know him? Xia Sidao shook her head and said, I don't. At first, I thought Xia Sidao would bring up the incident directly, I didn't expect her to have no intention of mentioning it, but that made the atmosphere even more awkward. Perhaps because she felt the atmosphere was a bit stiff. Li Xiaodong's sister spoke up first. Brother, have you all ordered yet? Li Xiaodong shook his head, smiling a bit awkwardly. Then he waved for the waiter. After getting the menu, he politely handed it to the girls. Li Wanwan took the menu and asked Xia Sidao. Sidao, what do you want to eat? Xia Sidao glanced at the menu and ordered 2 vegetable dishes. Then she ordered 2 milk teas. Li Wanwan asked Sidao with a confused look. Why did you order 2 milk teas? The milk tea here comes in quite large cups. Besides, we're having hot pot later. Don't get full on milk tea before the food even arrives. Hearing that, Xia Sidao gave a faint smile. Then she turned to look at me. It's fine. This classmate is a very heavy drinker. Hearing Xia Sidao's words, the girls glanced at Xia Sidao, then glanced at me. The blurry face of the guy in the photo instantly matched the person in front of them. So he's the one who snatched Xia Sidao's water to drink, and he downed it in one go, more than 10 bottles. What a formidable person. Now, Xia Sidao is ordering 2 milk teas. Is she afraid he'll come and snatch her drink again? Li Wanwan's eyes widened, a little in disbelief. Sidao, you didn't mistake him for someone else, did you? I remember during military training, their whole dorm condemned my water-drinking behavior vehemently. They called me a clown, saying I did it to get Xia Sidao's attention. And now, the man their entire dorm hated was right in front of them, and he's her brother's roommate. The 3 guys from the dorm heard Li Wanwan's words and lowered their heads even further. This is so embarrassing. In contrast, I, the troublemaker, faced the burning gazes of the 4 girls as if nothing had happened. I showed my 2 rows of even, white teeth and said to Xia Sidao, let me introduce myself. My name is Jiang Chen. As I spoke, I extended my hand. Everyone present looked towards Xia Sidao, wanting to see how she would react. Jiang Chen, that's a nice name. Xia Sidao didn't turn away in a huff, as they had imagined. Instead, she even complimented my name. Then she gently shook my hand. I am Xia Sidao. Xia Sidao's hand was a bit cold, but incredibly soft. Although it was just a light touch before she pulled her hand back, I could still feel the softness of that small hand. Seeing that the 2 people involved had let go of their grudge, the others immediately breathed a sigh of relief. The awkward atmosphere of that moment dissipated. They all started introducing themselves to each other. Everyone had a very enjoyable meal. Liu Yu even joked around with one of the girls. After finishing the hot pot, they all walked out of the restaurant. Li Wanwan hugged Li Xiaodong's arm and started acting cute. Brother, my foundation is all used up. Buy me another bottle. Hearing Li Wanwan wanted him to pay, Li Xiaodong immediately shook his head and refused. Buy more? Didn't I just buy you a bottle last month? Besides, Mom and Dad give you 50,000 yuan a month for living expenses, and only give me 20,000. Where am I supposed to get more money? Li Wanwan let go of Li Xiaodong's arm and said with a serious face, I don't care. If you don't buy it for me, I'll tell Mom and Dad that you bullied me at school. Let's see if they still give you living expenses then. You could tell. Li Wanwan must threaten her brother like this often. She looked very skilled at it. Hearing this, Li Xiaodong immediately softened. Okay. I'll buy it. All right. After saying that, he turned to the 3 of us and said, want to go walk around the mall together? Qi Zhen and Liu Yu both shook their heads. Are you kidding? The 2 of them were dirt poor, going with a bunch of second-generation rich kids like you would just be asking for trouble. The other 2 girls also expressed that they didn't want to go. Seeing this, Li Xiaodong shifted his gaze. To me, old Jiang Chen, are you going? I nodded and said, I'll go with you. I happen to want to buy some things too. Sidao, you should come with me, okay? Li Wanwan took Xia Sidao by the arm and decided for her directly. Xia Sidao, helplessly, shook her head but could only agree. Half an hour later, we arrived at a high-end shopping mall in Jiangcheng. The 4 of us had just stepped inside and were immediately attracted by the wide variety of goods inside. If it weren't for being linked to the system, I wouldn't have dared to browse much in this mall. With my monthly living expenses of only 800 yuan, I probably couldn't even afford an eyebrow pencil here. At this moment, Li Wanwan picked up a bottle-shaped object and said to Li Xiaodong, Brother, I also want this bottle of lotion. Li Xiaodong subconsciously looked at the brand of the counter. He found that it wasn't any big brand, then looked at the price. Only then did he breathe a sigh of relief. It's only 500 yuan. Buy it. Li Xiaodong waved his hand and directly scanned the code to pay. Li Wanwan looked at the salesperson. Pointing to the item on the counter, she said, Hello, beautiful sister. Can I get a set of this? Hearing this, Li Xiaodong immediately got anxious. He could still hear the difference between a bottle and a set. Li Wanwan, don't push your luck. Taking a whole set. Do you want your brother to starve this month? My dear brother, please pay for me first. I'll pay you back next month. Li Wanwan said while hugging Li Xiaodong's arm, showering him with affection. She knew her brother typically responded to softness, not force. Look, your sister's face is all tanned. If I don't take good care of it, I'm afraid I won't be able to get married later. Do you want to support me for the rest of my life? Hearing this, Li Xiaodong immediately gave in, nodding hastily. Buy it. Buy it. Buy it. I am not short on this little bit of money. If my sister can't get married, wouldn't this brother be exploited by her every day? Li Wanwan chuckled and continued. Haha, that's more like it. This type of cosmetic is very good for post-sunburn recovery. You and Jiang Chen can also buy a set. Li Wanwan's words moved me a little. After the military training, I was much darker than when I first started school. Although I didn't want to be some pretty boy. Now that I have money, treating myself a little better is the right thing to do. Besides, I still have an unfinished spending mission. How much is this set? I pointed to the cosmetic set on the counter and asked. Hearing this, the salesperson glanced at me and said nonchalantly, Hello, sir. This cosmetic set, the woman's set is 13,800 yuan, the men's set is 12,800 yuan. If you buy both sets at the same time, you can get a 10% discount. After hearing the employee's introduction, I couldn't help but sigh inwardly. My previous monthly living expenses were just enough to buy a fraction of this cosmetic set, but I didn't care. I came out this time specifically to spend money. Only then can I upgrade the system to V2. Thinking of this, I directly took out my bank card. I said to the salesperson, Get me a men's set. He'll swipe my card. Seeing me take out my bank card, the salesperson was a bit dazed. He didn't expect the poor guy in front of him to have so much money, but he didn't ask much. He took the bank card and went to the cashier to swipe it. Meanwhile, Li Xiaodong and the other two looked at me in astonishment. Old Jiang Chen. I didn't expect it. You're actually so rich. A 10,000 yuan item. You buy it just like that. Li Xiaodong was truly shocked. Because of my usual appearance, I didn't look like a second-generation rich kid at all. But if we're talking about who was the most surprised, it would have to be Xia Sidao, someone who could spend 10,000 yuan on cosmetics. Could, during military training, drink all the water someone else had given her. Are the weird hobbies of rich people all this strange? Xia Sidao couldn't quite understand. Li Wanwan, who was beside her, immediately spoke up. Brother, look at brother Jiang Chen. He spends money without batting an eye. Why is it so difficult when I ask you to buy a set for your little sister? Li Xiaodong had already made up his mind not to spend more than 5,000 yuan this time. But now, being put on the spot by his sister, he had no choice but to say, Give it, give it, give it. Take the bank card. The password is 6 sixes. Seeing this, a smile immediately returned to Li Wanwan's face. She took the bank card. Meanwhile, Li Xiaodong and the other two looked at me in astonishment. Brother, I knew you were the best to me. After saying that, she happily pulled Xia Sidao along to pay. After the two of them left, Li Xiaodong finally had time to come over to me. He looked me up and down, then exclaimed, I couldn't tell, old Jiang Chen. I thought I was the richest person in our dorm. I didn't expect you to be even richer than me. No way. I can't be the only one to treat for that meal just now. You have to pay for half of it. Li Xiaodong chuckled, clearly joking with me. But I nodded in agreement, but forget paying half. Treating guests should be reciprocal. After we're done at the mall, they ill-treat everyone to afternoon tea. Then I asked again, Right, Brother Dong, do you know a good place to buy clothes? Li Xiaodong smiled and said, Buying clothes? Huh. If it were before, I would have recommended Adidas or Nike. But now, since you're so rich, just go upstairs and buy luxury brands. After saying that, the four of us left the cosmetics counter and went straight up to the floor, specializing in clothing. Looking around, this floor mostly sold women's luxury goods. After searching for a long time, we found 2 stores specializing in men's clothing. Moreover, they were located in a hidden corner near the restroom. How pathetic. We casually entered one of the 2 stores. After walking around inside, I noticed a problem. The clothes here were all a bit mature, not suitable for a male student my age. It's not surprising. After all, the time when men have the most money is usually in their youth or middle age. Male students still in university like me usually don't have much money. And at this moment, Li Wanwan nominated herself to help me, choosing a polo shirt. The price tag was over 3,000, but it looked very good on. I was already tall, and having just finished military training, the muscles on my body were also very defined. I could fit into this shirt perfectly. Seeing me step out of the fitting room, Li Wanwan nodded with great satisfaction. Xia Sidao, standing beside her, said nothing from beginning to end. She looked me up and down once, then turned and walked towards the summer collection area. Sidao, wait for me a moment. Seeing this, Li Wanwan also hurried after her. A moment later, the two returned, each holding a pair of pants. Go try these on. They should go well with your shirt. Xia Sidao handed me the pants in her hand, her expression still cold as she spoke. It turns out she was silent just now, because she went to pick out pants for me. I nodded and entered the fitting room. I have to say, Xia Sidao's taste is excellent. After changing into these pants, my aura was elevated quite a bit. Congratulations, host, for achieving a satisfactory shopping experience. Reward, 4x spending rebate. Hearing the system's voice, I was stunned for a moment. Immediately, a wave of joy rose in my heart. Old Jiang Chen, why are you smiling so slyly? Li Xiaodong suddenly spoke up. Hearing his voice immediately pulled me back to reality. At this moment, it wasn't just Li Xiaodong, but even Li Wanwan and the other girl were looking at me with some suspicion. They didn't know what I was just standing there, grinning foolishly about. I shook my head helplessly, then said to the salesperson, "Hello, miss. Please bag up all these clothes for me." The salesperson heard me and took out a calculator, did some calculations, and then said, "Sir, the total is 49,500 yuan." Seeing this, Li Xiaodong and the others were all stunned. They said to me, "Old Jiang Chen, you've already spent over 50,000 this time. Are your living expenses that plentiful?" I glanced at Li Xiaodong and said with a smile, "I've been playing the stock market recently. I made a little money from it, so I am buying a few more things." After hearing my explanation, Li Xiaodong immediately breathed a sigh of relief. "That's good. Then, I thought you were some kind of hidden tycoon. Old Jiang Chen. The kind with 1 million yuan in living expenses each month. As long as it's not family money, it's fine. Otherwise, a second-generation rich kid like him, in front of me, would feel a bit unable to hold his head high." After paying, I immediately used that spending rebate card, suddenly having nearly 200,000 more. I felt very refreshed, but I quickly realized a problem. At this rate, it seemed I had already bought everything I needed. Carrying large and small bags in my hands, I wouldn't be able to carry anything more even if I went shopping. Now I am still short 50,000 to upgrade the system, so I looked at Li Xiaodong. "Brother Dong, do you see anything I am still missing?" Hearing my question, Li Xiaodong was first stunned, then he looked me up and down, and then looked over at Xia Saidao. A meaningful smile appeared on his face. I was originally hoping he could offer some constructive suggestions, but seeing that look in his eyes, the three of us were immediately speechless. What he meant was that I was now missing a girlfriend. At this moment, Li Wanwan looked at me and said with a smile, "Brother Jiang Chen, if you still want to buy things, I have a suggestion. My watch happens to need repairs. If you want to spend money, you could come with me to buy a watch to try on." That's right. Hearing Li Wanwan say that, Li Xiaodong had a sudden realization. This guy is so rich. He should definitely get a watch to wear. Saying that, Li Xiaodong even raised his hand to show off his 50,000 yuan Vacheron Constantin mechanical watch. Even Xia Sidao beside him nodded in agreement. I felt like something was missing just now. Now, I know. Add a watch, and this outfit will be perfect. Under the enthusiastic recommendation of Li Xiaodong and the others, I was also a bit tempted. A watch is a symbol of a man's status. A slightly more expensive watch starts at tens of thousands. Some ridiculous ones can even go up to 1 million. Just buying one can upgrade the system immediately. Congratulations, host, for triggering a side mission. Please, host, within 24 hours, purchase a Patek Philippe watch. Completing the mission will reward you with 3 spending rebate cards. After receiving the system mission, I immediately made a decision to lead Li Xiaodong and the others out. Seeing me make such a decisive decision, as if I were going to the market to buy vegetables, Li Xiaodong and the others were a bit helpless, thinking to themselves, is it really that easy to make money playing stocks now? Not long after, we arrived at the Patek Philippe specialty store. In front of the store were parked all kinds of luxury cars. At this moment, Li Wanwan pointed to one of them, a Rolls-Royce with a license plate of 5-6 seconds, and spoke, "Why is Dad's car here?" I don't know much about luxury cars. I only know how to read license plates. But judging by its appearance, this car is definitely not cheap, at least several million. It really is. Dad isn't here to buy another watch, is he? Li Xiaodong muttered. Immediately, he looked at me and said, "Old Jiang Chen, you're really lucky. My dad has a Patek Philippe Black Gold membership card. If you use his membership card to buy a watch, it will save a lot of trouble. Most importantly, you don't have to wait. Because Patek Philippe watches usually require a waiting period." After hearing Li Xiaodong's explanation, I felt I had come to the right place today. If I really had to wait a whole month, the system mission would have failed long ago. Those 3 spending rebate cards would also say goodbye to me. More importantly, the system would no longer trigger side missions in the future. If that's the case, it would be a huge pity. Brother Dong, then it'll have to trouble you to say a word to your dad. Ask him to help me buy a standard model watch, okay? I said with a grin. Not trying to be prideful. When you need to ask for a favor, you should. After all, favors being reciprocated is normal. Li Xiaodong patted his chest confidently and said, "Don't worry. It's just a matter of saying a word." Immediately after, the 4 of us pushed open the large door and entered the Patek Philippe store. Looking around, it was all splendid and magnificent. In front of the counter, several female employees in uniforms, with professional smiles on their faces, were introducing the watches in the store to customers. Seeing us walk in, a salesperson immediately approached. She walked straight up to Li Xiaodong and smiled at him. Young Master Lai, you've arrived. This female employee clearly knew Li Xiaodong. After all, his father was a VIP customer of this store. Li Xiaodong didn't beat around the bush and got straight to the point. Where is my father? Take us to see him. The salesperson immediately nodded, turned, and said, yes. Young Master Lai, everyone, please follow me. President Li is in the VIP room. With that, the salesperson in high heels headed towards one of the VIP rooms. Arriving at the VIP room, I quickly saw Li Xiaodong's father. He was wearing a dark suit and looked very elegant. Donger, Wan, you're here. Li Tianming was sitting on a genuine leather sofa. As soon as he saw his son and daughter, a smile appeared on his face. Li Xiaodong responded softly. He stepped forward to introduce us to his father. Dad, this is my roommate, Jiang Chen. This is Wan's roommate, Xia Sidao. Shai Sidao and I hurriedly nodded to greet Li Tianming. Hello, uncle. Li Tianming laughed heartily in response. Hello, kids. After speaking, he looked at his son again and continued to ask, Donger, why did you think of visiting me here today? Li Xiaodong scratched the back of his neck and said with a smile, to be honest, Dad, I need your help with something. My roommate wants to buy a standard model Patek Philippe watch. You know how hard it is to get a Patek Philippe watch. You happen to have a membership card. So, hearing this, Li Tianming immediately understood. He turned his head to look at me and developed a deep interest in the young man before him. Looking at his appearance, he probably isn't the type to be a playboy. Regarding his own son, he was very strict. This could be seen from the fact that he only gave him 20,000 in living expenses each month, so he didn't want his son hanging out with those other second-generation rich kids. Dad, don't worry. The money for friend Jiang Chen's watch was all earned by himself. Li Tianming nodded, looked at me, and asked, I wonder, young Mr. Jiang Chen, do you have a particular style you like? I shook my head. I don't know much about this kind of expensive watch. I'll follow Uncle Li's advice on everything. Li Tianming handled it very quickly. Not long after, the salesperson brought over 2 watches. Li Tianming looked at Li Xiaodong, patted his shoulder, and said, haven't you always wanted a Patek Philippe watch? Today, Dad is giving you one. I hope you can learn well from young Mr. Jiang Chen. Hearing this, Li Xiaodong hurriedly nodded, his face full of excitement, saying, yes, Dad, I will definitely learn from friend Jiang Chen. I never thought the thing I'd always longed for, a Patek Philippe, would be obtained so easily. Old Jiang Chen, you are truly my lucky star. Just as the two were talking, the salesperson brought over a jewelry box. Inside were some pieces of woman's jewelry. Mr. Lin, young Master Lai, this is a gift our store has prepared for you. You can choose any 2 items. Consider it a complimentary gift with the purchase of the watches. These jewelry pieces usually cost around 1 or 2,000. If you take them to jewelry stores outside, they could all be sold as high-end jewelry. But at a Patek Philippe store, these things can only be given as gifts. Listening to the salesperson, I didn't choose for myself, but looked towards Li Wan and Ha Tudao. How about we let these 2 ladies choose? I am not that interested in this jewelry. Li Xiaodong naturally had no objections to my suggestion. That's right. For 2 guys like us, this jewelry is useless. You 2, hurry up and pick. After you're done, well, go out for afternoon tea. Old Jiang's treat. Ha ha ha. Li Xiaodong waved his hand and said generously. Hearing this, Li Wan didn't hold back either. She started picking right away. Tudao, which one do you like? Li Wan held up 2 necklaces and asked, Ha Tudao? Ha Tudao hesitated for a moment, becoming a bit indecisive. Just then, I cut in. The one on the right, it has a swan shape. It suits her better. Actually, Ha Tudao liked that one too, but didn't feel it was right to say so. After all, Li Wan was benefiting from her brother, while her relationship with Jiang then was still a bit unclear. How could she take advantage of him? Li Wan didn't mind though. After all, she had a lot of jewelry. She wasn't short of 1 or 2 necklaces. She handed the swan necklace to Ha Tudao. Then this one is for you. I'll wear this bear-shaped one. Ha Tudao took it and said thank you. In the end, all 4 of us got something. After saying goodbye to Uncle Lai, the 4 of us left. You're not actually a straight-laced guy, are you? Just then, Ha Tudao's voice sounded in my ear. Not a straight-laced guy. I was a bit stunned and asked doubtfully, why do you say that? From high school until now, this is the first time I've heard someone use the term straight-laced guy to describe me. Although she was denying that I was a straight-laced guy, it was clear that before, Ha Tudao had always seen me as one. Seeing my confused expression, Ha Tudao continued to explain, because you were able to pick out a necklace that I like and give it to me. This proves you're not a straight-laced guy. Li Wan and her brother, who were walking ahead and bickering, heard Ha Tudao and I talking and stopped in their tracks. They turned around to look. Li Wan even laughed and linked arms with Ha Tudao, teasing, Brother Jiang, you have no idea. Before we knew you, everyone in our dorm All said you were a classic straight-laced guy, the type who definitely wouldn't get a girlfriend in 4 years of college. Other guys give 2 Dao water. But you? Oh, you're something else. You chugged all the water right in front of her. If that's not a straight-laced guy, what is? After hearing Lai Wan's explanation, I was immediately speechless and asked back, so in girls' eyes, if you're not a simp, you're a classic straight-laced guy. Faced with my question, Li Wan and Hatu Dao were both stunned. If you're not a simp, you're a classic straight-laced guy. They didn't know how to respond to this statement, because in their hearts, that's what girls really think. Guys who don't try to please them, or don't give in to them on certain things, are all categorized as classic straight-laced guys in their eyes. That's why my words left them speechless. Why must guys please girls? Of course, girls in this society are indeed a bit more vulnerable than guys, but you can't see guys that way, like on the day of military training. Hatu Dao, you clearly had water. Why did you still let those guys go buy water? And when they brought it back, you didn't drink it. Isn't that a waste of water resources? I said with a serious face, as if lecturing them, speaking to the point that Hatu Dao and Li Wan were both stunned. Especially Hatu Dao. Because she's beautiful. The guys around her have always obeyed her every word since she was young, never daring to go against her wishes. This gave her a sense of superiority, feeling that any guy who doesn't please her is a straight-laced guy, who doesn't know how to care for a girl's feelings. Now that ID said that, she realized that what she did that day was truly a big problem. I am sorry. Hatu Dao's eyes suddenly reddened. After repeatedly saying sorry twice, she seemed to break down. She took off running into the distance on her long, fair legs. Tu Dao, wait for me. Li Wan didn't know why Hatu Dao suddenly ran off. Moreover, I had been polite and elegant just a moment ago, but now I had become so assertive. But, as Hatu Dao ran further and further away, she could only chase after her. Old Jiang, are you okay? Li Dong couldn't help but ask. He didn't know why I suddenly got angry, nor did he know why Hatu Dao suddenly broke down and ran away. I am fine. I was just speaking my mind. What's wrong with Hatu Dao? Seeing this, I was also a bit baffled. I didn't intend to make Hatu Dao cry, and I wasn't even angry. I was just telling the truth. Why did the 2 girls run off? Li Dong shrugged, speaking speechlessly. You're asking me. Who should I ask? But seriously, old Jiang, what you just said was pretty awesome. You clearly chugged Hatu Dao's water, but now that you've said it like that, it's become her fault instead. This level of linguistic skill. I am impressed, truly impressed. Li Dong was an optimistic person, the type who doesn't overthink things. I asked back. So you think I was wrong? Li Dong seemed very empathetic and shared his point of view. That's right. Girls these days are put on too high of a pedestal. If there's anything that displeases them, they'll be called a straight-laced guy. This either a simp or a straight-laced guy mentality is terrifying, but he quickly changed the subject, revealing a sly expression as he spoke. But old Jiang, I'd advise you to think about how to cheer up Hatu Dao. If Hatu Dao's pack of simps finds out about this, I am afraid you'll be trending at school again. After all, you are now our school's famous classic straight-laced guy. Get lost, I roared in annoyance, threatening, if you keep this up, there won't be any afternoon tea. Faced with my threat, Li Dong put on an unconcerned expression. Spending over 200,000 in one day, and you still have money to treat me to afternoon tea, old Jiang. You really are a big shot. Hearing Li Dong say this, I realized that I had spent over 200,000 today. Looking at my bank account balance, there was less than 100,000 yuan left. Just then, the system's voice rang out. Congratulations. Host, experience points have exceeded 100,000. System level increased to LV2. Wealth blessing increased to 20 yuan per minute. I feel like it won't be long before I reach the pinnacle of my life. Maintain your composure. Absolutely do not get carried away. I put my arm around Li Dong's shoulder. Let's go. Little Dong Zi, I'll treat you to afternoon tea. Let's drink till we puke. 10 minutes later, Li Dong and I found a milk tea shop. After sitting down, Li Dong immediately took out his phone to call his sister, asking where they were. Unexpectedly, he learned that they had already taken a car back to school. From the other end of the line, you could faintly hear a girl sobbing. Although the sound wasn't loud, we could both tell that this must be Hatu Dao's voice. The 2 of us looked at each other. Li Dong quietly hung up the phone. Old Jiang, do you think you really made Hatu Dao angry? Just now, Li Dong thought Hatu Dao was just sulking, but now, hearing the sobbing on the phone, he realized that Hatu Dao was truly hurt. I shrugged and said helplessly, I was just telling the truth. I didn't do anything. I also didn't expect that my words would hurt Hatu Dao so much. Old Jiang, no wonder people say you're a straight-laced guy. I think you should think of a way to console Hatu Dao. Although we look down on being a simp, you shouldn't be a scumbag either. If this gets out, you'll go from being a steel-straight guy to a damn scumbag. This concerns your dating prospects for the next 4 years of college. Anyway, this didn't concern Li Dong, so he acted like it wasn't his business. He looked at me with a grin and said, Of course, if you could treat me to a meal, I might consider it. I'll have. My sister asked for you, to see what's really going on with Hatu Dao. After all, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will win 100 battles. I rolled my eyes disdainfully and said in annoyance, you think this is a battle? Know yourself and know your enemy. Win 100 battles. Just one milk tea. Take it. Or leave it. Seeing me compromise, Li Hyudong immediately sidled up, saying slyly, milk tea works too. Half an hour later, Li Hyudong returned to room 404. His two roommates were lazing on their beds playing King of Glory. They'd been playing all afternoon and successfully dropped 1 star. Seeing him walk in with a black plastic bag, the two of them immediately threw down their phones. Brother Dong, why'd you bring back trash? Trash your sister. This is milk tea from old Jiang. Li Hyudong took out a supersized cup of milk tea. His roommate stared, stunned. Holy crap, did you rob a milk tea shop? People drink milk tea, but you're drinking a family-sized barrel. Li Hyudong took a big slurp with a smug look. What's up? I have strong kidneys. Not convinced? Drink up. Anyway, this is the ultimate all-nighter tool. After drinking this cup, you'll probably be up all night. Li Hyudong paid no mind. As soon as he sat down, he messaged Li Wanwan on WeChat to ask for news about Hatu Dao. You take someone's stuff. You have to do the work. You have to help them. Old Jiang, Hatu Dao seems to be asleep. Wanwan said she was hit pretty hard this time. You should find some time to apologize. I nodded without saying anything. I never thought that just a few casual words could hurt the campus belle to this extent. It seems the guys usually spoil her too much. But I couldn't be bothered to think about it now. I'll wait a few days for her to calm down and then deal with it. Coming back from military training covered in sweat, I took a comfortable hot shower. Just as I took out the newly bought cosmetics set, a shirtless Li Hyudong sidled up. Old Jiang, let me use some. He directly squeezed out a large glob and smeared it all over his face. Damn, are you too gay? Ka Chan and Lu Vu teased from the top bunk. Li Hyudong even called out to them. Come on. Old Jiang's essence smells great. This sentence made the other two shake their heads vigorously. Brother Dong, you guys have fun. Well, pass. They don't know good stuff. This is a cosmetics set worth over 10,000. As soon as Li Hyudong said that, the two who had just been dismissive immediately jumped down from their beds. Over 10,000? Let me try. They directly pushed Li Hyudong aside, fighting to put it on their faces. Holy crap. Leave some for me. You're using too much. Why are you putting it on your body? The three of them scrambled into a chaotic mess. I stood by, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. This wasn't applying cosmetics. It was clearly hungry wolves fighting over prey. In room 404, several boys were looking in the mirror, applying cosmetics to their faces. Students passing by who heard the commotion all showed strange expressions. T-esque. Boys these days. The salesperson said this cosmetics set was a 1-month supply for one person. With 4 people using it, it would probably last a week. Well, see how effective it is in a week. If it works well, I'll just buy another set. Anyway, I can earn over 20,000 a day now. Buying 2 sets is more than enough. Finally, done applying the essence, the 4 of us lay on our beds, feeling the cool sensation on our faces. Expensive stuff really is different. Ka Chan said comfortably. I feel like my skin is getting better. Come on, Li Hyudong said while playing on his phone. Even a miracle elixir wouldn't work that fast. Oh, right. Old Jiang, Li Hyudong suddenly said. My sister asked for your WeChat. I sent it to her. All right, I replied with a smile. Aren't you afraid I'll become your brother-in-law? I couldn't wish for more. Li Hyudong joked. That way, she won't exploit me anymore. You're richer than me anyway. As we were talking, my phone vibrated twice. It was 2 friend requests. One was from Li Wanwan. Her profile picture was a photo of her. The other one must have been sent by Hatu Dao before she went to sleep. After accepting the requests, I opened Hatu Dao's moments. I found it only showed content from the last 3 days. These 3 days, Hatu Dao hadn't posted anything. Li Wanwan, on the other hand, was very active. As soon as I accepted, she sent a greeting meme. We got along quite well. We both tacitly avoided the topic of Hatu Dao. As we were chatting, Li Wanwan suddenly asked me about stock trading. She said that over the years, she had not only saved her own allowance, but had also fleeced a considerable amount of living expenses from Li Hyudong. Under the pretext of being afraid her brother would pick up bad habits, it was better to stop him from being a rich second-generation kid. All in all, she had saved a full 3 million. To a normal person, this is a huge amount of money, but in their family, this amount wasn't really much. Putting it in the bank was too much of a loss. Li Wanwan wanted to invest in wealth management, so she came to me. She wanted me to teach Li Hyudong how to trade stocks. After he became proficient, she would give him this money as startup capital. Looking at Li Hyudong snoring on his bed, I couldn't help but feel emotional. It turns out Li Wanwan cared for her brother so much. This kid is truly blessed without knowing it. I could have agreed right away. Whether it was helping her manage her assets or teaching Li Hyudong to trade stocks, it was all a good thing. But the problem was, I had no idea how to trade stocks. Although the system's rewards were transferred to my account through the stock market, I had never traded stocks. If I agreed, this 3 million would definitely be lost. After thinking for a moment, I still refused. Li Wanwan didn't mind too much. Everyone has the right to choose. After chatting a bit more, we ended the conversation. Half a month of military training. All 4 people in the room were exhausted. Plus, we walked around for so long today, I was unbearably sleepy. As soon as I put my phone down, I fell asleep. The next day, the first class of university was about to start. This meant our university life was officially beginning. University is different from high school. There are no fixed classrooms. Every class is in a different place. Besides my roommates, I wasn't close to any other classmates. On the first day, there was a simple freshman meeting. Everyone introduced themselves, but before we could recognize everyone, the teaching assistant announced dismissal. So I was really looking forward to my new classmates. I wondered if there were any beauties. The 4 of us joked around as we headed to the lecture hall. Inside was already packed with people, at least over 100. University courses are often shared by 2 classes. Our finance class 8 shared classes with class 9. Jiangnan University has 20 faculties. Our finance department majors in applied economics. This is a key major at the university. It's also ranked nationally. I originally chose this major because I thought it would be easy to find a job, but now it seems I don't need to look for a job anymore. Old Jiang, the quality of the girls in our class isn't that great. Huh? Ka Chan suddenly said. I glanced around the classroom. There were quite a few girls, and they dressed coolly, but there weren't many beautiful ones. But we're just starting college. Girls are still plain. Once they learn how to do makeup, maybe they'll become beautiful. After all, makeup is one of the 4 great sorceries of Asia. 8 a.m. All the students had arrived. The head teacher finally came. He was a man in a plaid shirt, with thinning hair and glasses. Unlike in novels, beautiful female university teachers are very rare in real life. People with looks scoring over 9 like Ha Tu Dao. There are only a dozen or so in all of Jiangnan University. Most girls hover around a 7 or 8. Behind the head teacher were a few students holding books. They placed the books on the podium and then sat in the front row. I guess these people wanted to run for class officer positions. The power of a university class officer is not small. It's equivalent to a temporary head teacher. The student union and clubs also require elections. University is a miniature society, but none of this concerned me. With the system, I was no longer on their level. As long as they didn't bother me, I couldn't be bothered with them. The head teacher cleared his throat. The class immediately fell silent. Hello, students. I am Teacher La. I hope you will all get along for the next 4 years. He spoke from the podium, and the students listened intently. Just starting university, everyone was curious about everything. Now, I'd like a few students to help me distribute the textbooks. Teacher Alay looked at the front row. The students who carried the books earlier immediately stood up. Teacher, let us. Teacher Lay nodded. Come on up. As soon as he finished speaking, the students went to the podium and started distributing books. Hello, I am Tong Nha Kai. I look forward to working with you. A clear voice rang out. I was playing on my phone. I looked up to see a girl with a slender figure standing before me. Although her appearance wasn't stunning, her smile was very sweet. I nodded and took the book. I didn't say anything else. At this moment, Lu Vu next to me suddenly stammered a reply. Tong Nhky had just smiled at him. Old Jiang, feeling it yet? Li Hu Dong nudged Lu Vu. This girl is one of the better ones in class. If you want to pursue her, you'd better be quick. Don't let someone else snatch her away. Lu Vu suddenly became agitated. Tong Nhky is not that kind of person. His voice was a bit emotional. She and I were high school classmates. In my impression, she's very hardworking and ambitious. These words from Lu Vu left the rest of us speechless. Lai Hu Dong opened his mouth to say something, but held back. Other people praise girls for being pretty or having a good figure. But you praise her for being ambitious. I voiced what Li Hu Dong was thinking. Lu Vu immediately blushed. Actually, I don't really like her. We were in different classes. She doesn't even know me. I only saw her occasionally when I went to the bathroom during recess. Lu Vu sighed as he spoke. The 3 of us looked at each other and understood. This was a classic case of a secret crush. All heart, but no guts. As roommates, we had to help him. By now, the books were distributed. The head teacher, Teacher La, spoke. Check if you have all 12 books. University isn't like high school. You have to be self-disciplined. Now let's choose some class officers. Let me be frank. Being a class officer is to serve the class, not to enjoy special privileges. Anyone who wants to be lazy shouldn't come up. This statement dampened the enthusiasm of many. But there were also those who genuinely wanted to serve. For example, Tong Nha Kwai. She was the first to go to the podium to speak. Hello everyone. I am Tong Nha Kai. Some of you already know me from when I was handing out books. I want to run for the position of party branch secretary. I held this position back in high school. I hope everyone will vote for me. Tong Nha Kai stood on the podium naturally and confidently. Her determined gaze swept across the class. I want to run for this position of party branch secretary. Her voice was clear and powerful. Although I am a girl, I believe I can do this job well. A round of applause erupted from below the stage. Lu Vu's eyes were glued to her, filled with admiration. I looked at Lu Vu, then back at Tong Nhky on the podium. I shook my head inwardly. No matter how I looked at it, these two didn't seem very compatible. The election for class president began. 3 male students went up to the podium one by one. They were all the active students who had helped the head teacher carry books earlier. The atmosphere in the class was very lively, but there were 2 positions that no one paid attention to. Health committee member and psychology committee member. Teacher LA repeated helplessly. Does really no one want to try? The entire class was silent. These 2 positions were really too unpopular. Even Teacher Leia couldn't clearly state what their specific duties were. Then let's start voting, Teacher Lei sighed. Tong Nha Kai, come up and help me count the votes. Tong Nha Kai smiled and walked up to the podium. The position of party branch secretary was already in her bag. After all, no one had the heart to compete with a girl. The voting went very smoothly, but my attention was always on Lu Vu. The way he looked at Tong Nha Kai was like looking at the stars in the sky. Tong Nha Kai walked up to the podium, took chalk, and wrote the names of 7 students. She began counting votes. About 10 minutes later, the election results were announced. The class president was a Jiang then local, Trao Dung. The party branch secretary was Tong Nh Kai. The other positions were also filled. Only the health committee member and psychology committee member still had no candidates. Asking one last time, does anyone want to run for these 2 positions? Teacher LA looked around the class. Seeing no one answer, he was about to let the president and secretary take on the roles concurrently, when suddenly Li Hu Dong raised his hand and stood up. Teacher, I'll take both of those positions. Teacher Lei frowned. Both of them? How about this? Li Hu Dong changed the subject. I can give the health committee position to my roommate. I was baffled. When did I say I wanted to run? But seeing Li Hu Dong frantically signaling with his eyes, I had to reluctantly say, I guess that's okay. All right, the health committee member will be handled by me. The psychology committee member will be handled by Lai Heu Dong. After Teacher La finished speaking, he hurriedly left the classroom, afraid we would change our minds. Young Master Lai, why did you suddenly want to be a class officer? These 2 positions don't get you any conduct points and have no real power. As soon as the head teacher left, I couldn't help but ask Lai Heu Dong. Ka Chan and Lu Vu also gathered around with curious expressions. I'll tell you guys. But don't spread it around. Li Heu Dong lowered his voice. My dad knows the vice principal. Yesterday, Uncle Vuong told me there will be a reform for class officers next month. The benefits for all positions will be the same. Positions that didn't get points before will now get conduct points just like the class president. So that was it. No wonder the usually lazy Lai Heu Dong was so proactive today. Conduct points are very important in university. Evaluations for honors and awards all depend on it. Nice one. Young Master Lai, I was tempted after hearing that, to think we'd run into such a good thing. Old Jiang. Old Li. There were only 2 spots. I still want to freeload a meal off old Jiang. Li Hu Dong winked at me. No problem. My treat this noon. You guys pick the place. I agreed readily. Ever since buying the Patek Philippe and the 10,000 yuan cosmetics set, my roommates all thought I was a rich guy. Li Heu Dong had long wanted to rip me off for a meal. But for a meal, the atmosphere is what's important. We originally planned to eat off campus for lunch, but we had class in the afternoon, so we had to switch to the canteen. In the stir-fry restaurant on the 2nd floor of the school canteen, the 4 of us found a table by the window and sat down. Isn't that? Lai Heu Dong was suddenly surprised, looking towards the server who was walking over. Tong Nha Kai, wearing an apron, walked over with a menu. Seeing us, she was also stunned. Student Lai. Student Jiang. I smiled and greeted her. Hello. Student Tong. I turned my head to look at Lu Vu, who had his head down. This is my roommate. Lu Vu. He went to the same high school as you. Lu Vu was so nervous he didn't dare to look up. His ears were also red. Tong Nha Kai looked at him curiously for a moment, but seeing him like that, she didn't feel it was right to say anything. Student Tong, why are you working as a server here? Lai Heu Dong couldn't help but ask. It's a work-study job. Tong Nh Kai said with a smile. My roommate works here, so I came along. Hearing the 4 words work-study job, we all tacitly understood not to ask further. After all, university students have a lot of pride. If it weren't for special circumstances, who would work part-time in the canteen? Go ahead and order. My treat today. I took the menu and handed it to them. Lai Heu Dong and the others were in sync, ordering several flavorful dishes. The atmosphere quickly became lively again. In the end, I added a soup and a side dish. I handed the menu back to Tong Nha Kai. It's all Sichuan food. Huh? You guys are in for a treat. Tong Nha Kai glanced at the menu and said with a smile, the chef on duty today is from Sichuan. Really? Then I'll have to taste it carefully, I said with a laugh. Tong Nha Kai took the menu and swayed into the back kitchen. As soon as she left, Li Heu Dong and I looked at Lu Vu with utter disappointment. Old Lu? Brother Jiang set you up. You have to react a little. Lai Hu Dong couldn't help but say. Although Ka Chan and I didn't say anything, our faces were written with helplessness. Brother Dong, Brother Jiang, don't force me anymore, Lu Vu said dejectedly. I don't want to be in a relationship. Besides, there's no way she could like me. Looking at his useless demeanor, we were all speechless. Li Hu Dong wanted to say more, but I stopped him. Forget it. Old Lu has his own thoughts. We quickly changed the subject to next week's freshman welcome party. This is a great chance to see pretty girls. Everyone immediately perked up. What are you talking about? That's so exciting. Song Yaki came over with a plate of spicy chicken. Behind her was her ordinary-looking roommate. Li Xiaodong said despicably, "We're just talking about academics," but his eyes were glued to the plate of spicy chicken. Song Yaki put the dish down. Her roommate tugged at the hem of her shirt and said, "I'll head back first." She left without even saying goodbye. We didn't mind. We just picked up our chopsticks and started eating. This is delicious. I picked up a piece of spicy chicken. The spicy, numbing, and fragrant flavor spread through my mouth. To be able to eat Sichuan cuisine of this quality in the school cafeteria, as expected of a restaurant exclusive to the rich. Ting. The system notification suddenly sounded. Congratulations, host, for tasting authentic Sichuan cuisine. Perfect life experience +1. Reward. 1 food consumption rebate card. I was overjoyed. This system is amazing. I can get a reward just for eating a Sichuan dish. Consumption rebate card instructions. Limited to food consumption only, with a maximum of 50,000 per use. Rebate multiplier is random, from 1 to 4 times. Before I could even digest that, the system went ting, 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 continuously. Congratulations on receiving the title Master of Cuisine. From now on, you can receive a rebate card every time you try a new dish. Side quest unlocked. Search for the world's most unique Sichuan flavor. Reward. Undetermined. I was chewing on the spicy chicken. I almost choked on this series of notifications. Song Yaki asked with concern. What's wrong? Is it too spicy? Lai Xiaodong grinned wickedly. Old Jiang, if you can't handle spicy food, don't force it. Be careful, or your butt will hurt tomorrow. Haha. K. Zhen also chimed in. I put down my chopsticks. With a disdainful look, I said, I am from Shangcheng. This bit of spiciness is nothing, but this spicy chicken is indeed very special. I've never tasted anything like it. After all, a dish that can trigger the system must be extraordinary. That's true. Lai Xiaodong and the other guy immediately deflated. Everyone knows people from Shangcheng are the best at eating spicy food. In front of me, they didn't dare to act cocky anymore. The campus belle took the initiative to show goodwill. The world of the rich is truly different. After finishing the meal, the few of us continued on to class. This week passed by so quickly. High school teachers always said that university was a release. Only now do I realize it was all a lie. University life is even more tiring than high school. It was finally the weekend. All 4 of us in the dorm were passed out on our beds, catching up on sleep. I opened the system panel to check the mission progress. After a week, I had over 300,000 inches my bank card. For a university student, this was definitely a huge sum of money. Enough to buy an entry-level luxury car. But I am not planning to buy a car right now. I am preparing to go home for National Day and find an excuse to give it to my parents. Calculating the time. Since the start of school on August 20th, plus the military training, 20 days have passed. There are still 20 days until National Day. At my current rate of earning money, my savings will very likely exceed 1 million by then. Thinking about this, I felt a little worried. Suddenly giving my parents so much money. Would they be scared? Should I give it to them in installments? But it's only early September now. It's still too early. I jumped down from my bed and asked Li Xiaodong on the opposite bunk, Bro Dong, do you know any high-end restaurants in Jiangcheng? Preferably the kind where a meal for 4 can cost 50,000. Li Xiaodong looked at me like I was an idiot. Old Jiang, you still have money? He had seen me spend with his own eyes. 160,000 to buy a Patek Philippe, and then tens of thousands on clothes and skincare. Suddenly, Li Xiaodong abruptly sat up. Old Jiang, don't tell me you made another killing in the stock market. I smiled without saying anything. Damn. I knew it. Li Xiaodong asked excitedly. Fess up. How much did you make this time? Not much, but it's enough to treat you guys to a meal. I didn't directly tell Li Xiaodong the specific budget. Instead, I asked again if Jiangcheng had any high-end restaurants to recommend. The important thing is that the food has to be authentic enough. Li Xiaodong's eyes lit up. What a coincidence. I know a place opened by the descendant of an imperial chef. Last time, I went there once with my dad to entertain important guests. The average cost per person is not cheap. Are you sure you want to treat us? I smiled and snapped my fingers. Let's go. Dad's taking you kids out for a feast. After getting along for over half a month, the way we addressed each other in room 404 had long since upgraded from brothers to a father-son game. The 3 of them heard they were going out to eat. They immediately scrambled to change clothes. After getting in the car, Li Xiaodong suddenly slapped his thigh. Oh, right. That restaurant only has set menus for 6 people. We need to call 2 more people. I casually suggested. Call your sister. Li Xiaodong nodded. We might as well have Xia Sidao come too, seeing my sudden silence. Li Xiaodong quickly explained. It's been so long since that last incident. Besides, she's actually very... Stop. I waved my hand. Am I that much of a grudge holder? It's just that it might be a little awkward meeting her. Li Xiaodong had already taken out his phone. Driver. Change course to Taikoo. They're waiting at the entrance of the mall. 20 minutes later, the four of us arrived at the Taikoo shopping center. From a distance, we saw Li Wanwan and Xia Sidao standing by the road. Each of them was holding 2 cups of milk tea. After Li Xiaodong paid for the ride, he waved to his sister. Li Wanwan whispered a few words to Xia Sidao. The two of them walked over together. Bro, here's your milk tea. Li Wanwan handed the milk tea to Li Xiaodong. Don't say I am stingy anymore. Even though Sidao treated. At least I remembered to bring you one. Li Xiaodong frowned, taking the milk tea without a word. Just then, Xia Sidao walked up to me. She handed me the other cup of milk tea. I was stunned for a moment. I didn't expect the campus belle to take the initiative to show goodwill. Thanks. I graciously accepted the milk tea. Qi Zhen and Liu Yu stood to the side. Their faces were full of envy and admiration. Let's go. Li Xiaodong broke the awkward silence. Old Jiang is treating us to Imperial cuisine today. The 6 of us can't fit in one car. Wanwan. Call another car. No need. Li Wanwan pointed to the side of the road. I drove Uncle Wang's Rolls-Royce here today. It's a 7-seater, just enough. You drove the family car out? What about your dad? Li Wanwan said nonchalantly. There's still a Maybach and a BMW 7 Series at home. He's not going to work anyway. All right. I was overthinking it. The world of the rich is truly different. The Rolls-Royce drove smoothly on. The road to Heping Huanyan. This place has quite a history. Li Xiaodong enthusiastically introduced it to everyone. A century-old restaurant, open since the Republic of China era until now. The head chef is the owner himself. His ancestors were imperial chefs. He counted on his fingers as he spoke. They only serve 18 tables a day, 9 in the afternoon, 9 in the evening. Each table has at least 6 people. I heard a food corporation offered 50 million to buy the recipe. He just turned them away and told them to get lost. Li Xiaodong spoke with great enthusiasm, as if he were bragging about his own family's business. In reality, even with his wealthy background, he had only been here once in his entire life. If my dad didn't know the head chef, we wouldn't even be able to get a reservation. He tilted his chin smugly. Reservations now are booked until at least next week. TSK. Li Wanwan, sitting in the front row, rolled her eyes. If Brother Jiang wasn't treating, you wouldn't be able to afford it even if you got a reservation, right? Li Wanwan. Li Xiaodong's face stiffened. If you don't talk, no one will think you're mute. His sister wasn't one to back down. I hate show-offs the most. Watching the two siblings bicker, I couldn't help but think of my sister far away in Shangcheng. My sister, Jiang Xiaoxiao, back home. Although she's younger than me, her average grades meant she could only attend a junior college. She has the same casual personality. We always argue whenever we meet. Just thinking about her gives me a headache. I heard her school's military training is a month long. She must still be baking under the sun right now. Just the thought of it is thrilling. While I was thinking, Xia Sidao, next to me, suddenly spoke up. I am sorry about last time. What? I was still imagining my sister getting a dark tan from the sun. I didn't quite hear her. It was about calling you a straight man last time. It was because I was too arrogant. Xia Sidao's voice grew quieter. Let me treat tonight's dinner. Consider it an apology. As soon as she said that, Li Xiaodong and Li Wanwan in the front seat abruptly turned around. Sidao, are you crazy? Do you know how much this meal costs? I was also surprised. If it weren't for completing the system's mission, even I, with a daily income of 20,000, wouldn't dare to splurge like this. I know. I eat there often, Xia Sidao said lightly. Often. Everyone in the car was shocked. Li Wanwan was even more dumbfounded. After being roommates for so long, she never knew her roommate was so rich. It was then that I remembered. Last time when we were shopping at Taikoo, Xia Sidao wasn't fazed by clothes that cost several thousand yuan. She was even more professional at coordinating outfits than Li Wanwan. Turns out she's a hidden rich young miss. Don't be surprised, Xia Sidao said with her head down. My dad brings me every time. She let out a sigh. Actually, our family is about to go bankrupt. The car suddenly fell silent. My dad's company's capital chain broke earlier this year. Her voice grew quieter. We'll have to declare bankruptcy by the end of the year. No one said anything. That's just business. Ups and downs are normal. Their family's assets would still be thicker than an ordinary person's. I suddenly spoke up. No need to go through all that trouble. I already said I am treating today. Are you kidding me? I went through so much trouble to get this food rebate card. How could I possibly give it to her? Does she have a system to take advantage of? Xia Sidao asked carefully. So, have you forgiven me? She herself didn't understand why she cared so much about my opinion. Maybe it was because during military training, I had an unconventional performance. Or maybe my words last time made her see herself more clearly. Looking at her sincere eyes, I nodded. There's nothing to forgive or not forgive. I was a bit too blunt last time. My greatest strength is not holding grudges. The car fell silent again. The car arrived at Heping Huangyan. Uncle Wang, come eat with us. Li Xiaodong asked the driver. No need, young master. Uncle Wang smiled and shook his head. You guys go ahead and eat. As the boss driver, he still understood these boundaries. Li Xiaodong didn't say anything more. He knew Uncle Wang wouldn't agree. It was just a polite gesture. Uncle Wang, please wait here for a while. Yes, young master. After getting out of the car, a receptionist in a Q-Pow came to greet us. Welcome, esteemed guests. Do you have a reservation? We booked the TNZ room an hour ago. The receptionist immediately led the way. This place looked more like a private residence, a Shia-style garden of 1,000 square meters. To have such an estate in the city center, money alone isn't enough. You also need to have family background. We entered the private room. A charming woman in a business suit walked in. Her attire didn't look like a waitress, but more like the owner. What would you big bosses like to eat? She asked charmingly. I was wondering why the waitress was so casual. Li Wanwan suddenly spoke up. Sister Anlin, why are you here? The woman smiled when she saw the two siblings. I heard you guys were coming to eat. As the host, I naturally have to entertain you personally. Aya, stop joking. How can I be considered a big boss? Anlin teased. You're not a big boss, but your father is. What good deed did you do today for your dad to reward you with a meal here? The woman blinked her foxy eyes and said with a smile, my dad is not that generous. My brother's friend invited us here. Her gaze shifted towards me. The woman also looked over. After getting a clear look at my face, her eyes lit up. Li Xiaodong pointed at us and said, Sister Anlin, let me introduce you. This is my roommate. Jiang Chen, Wanwan's roommate. Xie Sidao. And Kei Zhen. Liu Yu. Then he said to us, this is the daughter of the owner of Heping Huangyan. Liu Anlin. Just call her Sister Anlin. We stood up to greet her. Liu Anlin waved back charmingly. In my opinion, Liu Anlin's beauty was at least a 9 out of 10. Even the campus belle, Xia Sidao, seemed a bit immature in front of her. Liu Anlin exuded the charm of a mature woman, especially that sexy figure and those long, slender legs, made it impossible for one to look away. Li Wanwan linked arms with her and asked, Sister Anlin, why did you suddenly come back? Liu Anlin frowned and sighed, sigh. My dad wants to open a branch in the capital and told me to manage it, so I had to come back to learn management first. I didn't expect to run into you guys like this. Liu Anlan smiled and asked, what do you want to eat? Go arrange it. Everyone looked at me. After all, I was the one treating today. I waved my hand. You guys order. I am not familiar with this place. I am just in charge of paying. I spread my hands helplessly. There isn't even a menu. How am I supposed to order like this? Liu Anlin saw through my confusion and explained with a smile. Our Heping Huangyan is very special. Each private room has a fixed set menu. This TNZ room mainly serves the Fi Longzai Tian menu series. You can freely combine the dishes. She paused for a moment. If it's your first time, how about I help you put something together? I happily agreed. Okay. As long as it's delicious and enough to meet the 50,000 spending limit. Liu Anlin smiled charmingly. Don't worry. She swayed her slender waist and went to the back kitchen to make arrangements. As soon as she left, Li Xiaodong immediately perked up and nudged me with his elbow. So, isn't Sister Anlin beautiful enough? Honestly, she's very beautiful. This type of mature, queenly woman has a huge killing power on university students. Li Xiaodong lowered his voice. Let me tell you a secret. Sister Anlin isn't much older than us, and she's still single. This restaurant of hers can make 100 million a year. Marry her and you can skip decades of struggle. I chuckled. Now that I have this system, making money isn't an issue at all. If I were to pursue her, it would be because I like her, not for the money. Half an hour later, Liu Anlin led the waiters in, pushing a food cart. There were more than 10 dishes on the food cart, exquisite dishes covered with white lids. This is our state banquet set menu. Liu Anlin introduced as she uncovered the dishes. There's Buddha jumps over the wall, squirrel-shaped fish, and braised 3-treasure duck. There's also safflower shark fin and wensi tofu. After introducing the dishes, Liu Anlin led the waiters out of the private room. There were also 2 bottles of 82 wine on the table. One look and you could tell they were valuable. I picked up a piece of fish to taste. My eyes immediately lit up, as expected of an Imperial chef's skills. This taste, compared to the Sichuan food I ate at the cafeteria recently, is much better. Just thinking of the cafeteria, I suddenly found it funny. Why am I comparing mass-produced cafeteria food with Imperial cuisine? This one dish is worth thousands of yuan, enough for me to eat at the cafeteria for a whole month. Ting. The system notification suddenly sounded. Congratulations, host, for having a new gourmet experience. Reward, food consumption rebate card X1. Side quest unlocked. Imperial cuisine appraisal. Every time you enjoy a satisfactory dish, you will receive 1 rebate card. Limit: 10 cards. Completing all missions will enhance your culinary appraisal ability. I put down my chopsticks in pleasant surprise. Just eating one dish activated the system's reward. One rebate card can give back 250,000. 10 cards would be 2.5 million. Even if my luck is a bit bad, I can still make at least around 1 million. This system is amazing. They'll have to go out and spend more from now on. I picked up a piece of the 3 treasure duck. It tasted even better than last time. Lai Xiaodong couldn't help but try a piece too. He praised it while eating, not looking like a second-generation rich kid at all. Li Wanwan gave him a glare but didn't say anything. It seems she's long used to it. Bro Dong, mind your image. Leave some for us. Qi Zhen and Liu Yu also joined the battle. The 4 of them fought for the food, having a great time. Li Wanwan and Xia Sidao looked at each other and smiled helplessly. Although they were also hungry, they maintained their elegance in the high-end restaurant. The 82 wine in the set menu was indeed not bad. Even the 2 of them, who didn't usually drink. The girls couldn't help but try some. 2 bottles of wine went down. All of us were a bit tipsy. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, Li Xiaodong sprawled on his chair and sighed. This is the life of a rich second generation. I smiled and stood up. Your dad is doing it for your own good. You guys clean up. I am going to pay. This meal cost 51,800. Liu Anlin rounded it down and charged me exactly 50,000 yuan. After paying, I used a food rebate card. Ting. The system notification sounded. Verifying. Diner is very satisfied. Congratulations on receiving a 4x rebate. The rebate amount is 200,000 yuan. Not bad. Not bad. It seems this money was well spent. Everyone was very satisfied with the meal. I put away the receipt, about to head back to the private room, when I saw Li Wanwan helping a very drunk Xie Sidao walk out. Lai Xiaodong was awkwardly standing beside them. Old Jiang, get over here. Li Xiaodong looked like he had seen his savior. Xia Sidao is drunk. I hurried over to help. How did she end up drinking this much? We wanted to finish the rest of the wine. Lai Xiaodong scratched his head. Who knew her tolerance was so low? Go get the car. After saying that, he ran to the parking lot. Xia Sidao was heavily drunk. Her body was limp, and she couldn't even stand steadily. I had no choice but to wrap one arm around her waist and put her arm over my shoulder. She was wearing a tight-fitting t-shirt today. Her full chest occasionally brushed against my arm, making me a little flustered. I didn't expect it. You couldn't tell when she wore her camouflage uniform. This girl's figure is actually so hot. Xia Sidao groggily opened her eyes. Seeing it was me, she leaned against my shoulder in relief, like an obedient kitten. After the 2 idiots got Xia Sidao into the car, I finally breathed a sigh of relief and slumped into the car. Old Jiang, are we heading straight back to school? Li Xiaodong, in the passenger seat, turned to ask me. What else? I asked back. The dorms have closed already. Old Liu and the others went to the internet cafe to play games. Li Xiaodong pointed inside the car. Now it's just me, him, and the drunk Li Wanwan and Xia Sidao. I frowned and asked, so what do you suggest? Lai Xiaodong scratched his head. How about this? Wanwan, and I will go straight home. You take the campus bell to a hotel and get a room. After you're done, come find us at the internet cafe to play games. I looked at Xia Sidao, sleeping soundly on my shoulder. Then I looked at Li Wanwan, who was also passed out drunk. I could only nod. All right. Uncle Wang, take them to the Sheraton first, Lai Xiaodong told the driver. On the way, Xia Sidao's head unconsciously leaned on my shoulder. I was about to ask Lai Wanwan for help, but it turned out she was asleep too. The alcohol tolerance of these 2 girls is really poor. A few glasses of wine and they're this drunk. Xia Sidao had a faint, gentle scent on her. It wasn't perfume, but more like a young girl's natural body fragrance. It was very pleasant. I quietly tilted my head. From this angle, I could perfectly see her flawless side profile. Her skin was so fair it seemed to glow. Her eyelashes were long and curled. No wonder she became the campus belle right after enrolling. This face was truly enough to topple cities. The Rolls-Royce quickly stopped at the entrance of the Sheraton Hotel. Old Jiang, we're here. You carry the campus bell down. I am taking my sister home. Come find you guys later. Remember to come to the internet cafe early tonight. Well, meet at the canyon. No backing out. Li Xiaodong finished. He gave me a suggestive wink. I ignored him. I got out of the car and directly carried Xia Sidao out. Old Jiang, I am leaving first. Li Xiaodong closed the car door. The Rolls-Royce slowly drove away. I stood at the hotel entrance, holding the drunk Xia Sidao. My feelings were complicated. It was my first time taking a girl to get a room, and the subject was the campus belle, Xia Sidao. This first time wasn't a loss, but looking at her unconscious in my arms, my feet felt like they were weighted down with lead. I couldn't take a step. It wasn't out of shyness, but because I couldn't overcome that barrier in my heart. Even though she was this drunk, even if I did something, she wouldn't know. And even if she did find out, it probably wouldn't matter. But I, Jiang Chen, am not that despicable. If I want to pursue her, I'll do it honorably. With a sigh, I held Xia Sidao steady and slowly walked into the Sheraton Hotel. On a street corner, 2 male students suddenly stopped. Zhao Kai. Quick, look at the hotel entrance. Wang Tao forcefully pulled his companion. Isn't that Shai Sidao from your class? Zhao Kai looked in that direction, his pupils suddenly contracting. The girl being carried into the hotel by a male student was indeed the campus belle, Xia Sidao, whom he had long admired secretly. Holy crap, it really is her. Zhao Kai's voice trembled. Wang Tao squinted. Look at her. She seems to have had a lot to drink. What else could they be doing at a hotel? Zhao Kai gritted his teeth. Maybe she was drugged. The two looked at each other and simultaneously rushed towards the hotel. At this moment, at the reception desk, I had just finished the check-in procedure. Xia Sidao was breathing evenly in my arms, her long hair hanging down. A loud shout suddenly rang out. Stop. I turned around to see two male students, pointing their phones at me. Put Xia Sidao down immediately. Zhao Kai, with a ferocious expression, waved his phone. Or else, well, call the police right away. He was trembling all over, as if he were a knight saving a princess. I narrowed my eyes. Who are you? The two male students were still shouting behind me. I couldn't be bothered with these two idiots. Something was wrong with their heads. I turned and went straight into the elevator. Hey. Stop. Zhao Kai raised his phone and wanted to chase after me, but he was stopped by hotel security. Sir, and filming is prohibited here. Please leave immediately. Otherwise, we will call the police. Zhao Kai could only watch helplessly as he saw me carrying Xia Sidao disappear from sight in the elevator. After leaving the hotel, the more Zhao Kai thought about it, the more resentful he felt. Bro Wang, let's call the police. If we delay any longer, that guy will succeed. Wang Tao quickly stopped him. Are you stupid? What if they're a couple? Besides, we don't even know who he is. But the campus belle right now. Zhao Kai was so anxious he stomped his feet. Wang Tao smiled sinisterly. Don't rush. I think that guy looks like someone from our school. Post the video on the school forum. Someone will definitely recognize him. Let's see how he handles it then. Jiangcheng University is a key university. The discipline management is very strict. If a student really takes advantage of a drunk girl and gets a room, if the school finds out, they'll definitely be expelled and face legal consequences. Zhao Kai's eyes lit up. He immediately took out his phone to post on the school forum. At this time, in the hotel, I was carrying Shai Sidao, looking for the room in the hallway. So hot. Xia Sidao started taking off her clothes. I quickly grabbed her hands. Don't move around. I quickened my pace to the room. After entering the room, I placed her on the bed. Her clothes were already disheveled, revealing a large patch of skin, looking extremely alluring under the light. Water. Xia Sidao suddenly hugged me tightly. So thirsty. I pushed her away and brought some mineral water, but she couldn't drink it at all. The water trickled down the corner of her mouth, wetting the bedsheet. Really? I quickly used a tissue to wipe it, but the water stain remained. I might have to pay for damages this time. Seeing Xia Sidao lying on the bed, still frantically taking off her own clothes, she showed no signs of wanting to sleep at all. Seeing this scene gave me a bit of a headache. I originally thought I'd take Xia Sidao to the hotel, and then go to the internet cafe to find old Liu and the others. But now, with Xia Sidao in this state, it's hard for me to leave with peace of mind. Moreover, she hasn't thrown up yet. Many drunk people, if left unattended, when they vomit, could very likely choke on it, leading to death by suffocation. If Xia Sidao dies here, I definitely wouldn't be able to escape involvement. So I took out my phone and made a voice call to Li Wanwan. Hello, Brother Jiang. What's up? Li Wanwan's voice came from the other end of the line. From her tone, it seemed she had sobered up. Are you free right now? How about you come over to the hotel to take care of Sidao for a bit? Seeing her like this, it's very dangerous to leave her alone in the hotel. I didn't beat around the bush and got straight to the point. Okay, I just finished showering. I'll change and come over right away. Li Wanwan finished talking and hung up the phone. I went to the bathroom to wash my face, to calm myself down. Then I went back to the room to wait. Not long after. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock on the door from outside. I hurried to open it. I saw Li Wanwan standing at the door. I couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. I saw her wearing a loose t-shirt, her hair still a bit wet. Below, she wore a pair of jean shorts, revealing her long, sexy legs, looking extremely charming. Why did you come dressed like this? Seeing Li Wanwan's hair still soaking wet, I couldn't help but ask. Didn't you call me in a hurry? It's okay. Uncle Wang drove me here. Li Wanwan tucked her hair back. Then she looked into the room and asked, How is Si Yao? See for yourself. I stepped aside to let Li Wanwan in. Seeing the scene before her, Li Wanwan's eyes immediately widened. She didn't know what to say. She only saw Xia Xiao lying on the bed with her clothes disheveled. Moreover, there were some wet spots on the bedsheet. On the nightstand were several used tissues, clearly used to wipe some kind of liquid. Brother Jiang, did I interrupt something good? Li Wanwan's face grew a little hot. Who knows what she was thinking? She asked subconsciously. I was speechless when I heard her. As expected. It was all a misunderstanding. Heaven and earth are my witness. I really didn't do anything to Xia Yao. Li Wanwan stood at the door, hesitating. I quickly explained, Don't misunderstand. I didn't do anything. Stay with her tonight. I am going to find your brother. After speaking, I stuffed the room card into her hand and slipped away without looking back. I originally planned to go to an internet cafe, but I was too tired, so I had to take a cab back to school. 1 a.m. I bribed the dorm manager with 2 cigarettes. I finally got into the dormitory. I fell asleep as soon as my head hit the pillow, completely unaware that the school forum had exploded. The next day when I woke up, I found that Liz Yao Dong had called me several times. I called back. On the other end of the line was a tired voice and the sound of a keyboard. Hello, old Jiang. Why didn't you come last night? Could it be with the campus bell? Before he could finish his words, Qi Zhen suddenly shouted, Holy crap, Brother Jiang is trending again. I was completely stunned. What do you mean again? It's only been half a month. How am I trending again? Brother Dong. Something's happened. What's wrong? What's old K yelling about? Li Xiaodong didn't answer. He put the phone down and moved closer to Qi Zhen. Qi Zhen's mumbling came through the phone. The male student who stole the campus bell's water half a month ago. Now he's trying to rape Xia Si Yao. My heart tightened. I remembered taking Xia Si Yao to the hotel last night. I ran into those 2 bastards, and they were even filming. Could they have posted the video online? What the hell is going on? I was so anxious I stomped my foot. Lai Xiao Dong sighed and said, Old Jiang, you should check the forum yourself. This time it's a big deal. You might even get expelled. It really was them. Old Jiang, don't rush. I'll ask Wan Wan about the situation. Well, come find you right away. After saying that, Li Xiaodong hung up. I quickly opened the school forum. Public opinion had already skewed to one side. No one would listen to an explanation now. At this moment, in the Sheraton Hotel, Li Wanwan, who had just woken up, received a call. Hello, brother, Wanwan. Are you at the hotel? Is Xia Si Yao awake yet? Li Xiaodong's voice was anxious. Yes. What's wrong? Is Xia Si Yao awake yet? Li Wanwan rubbed her eyes, looking at Xia Si Yao sleeping soundly on the bed. She said tiredly, Not yet. She threw up all night. Now she's catching up on sleep. Brother, what on earth happened? Lai Xiaodong stammered. When she wakes up, tell her to come back to school quickly. I can't explain the details. I still have to call old Jiang. After saying that, he hung up. Why are you being so mysterious? Li Wanwan mumbled. She casually opened the school forum. The video pinned on the homepage made her eyes widen instantly. Oh my god. What is this? Now she understood why her brother was in such a hurry. If this blows up, I could be expelled. I could even be cyberbullied. As for jail, it wouldn't go that far. After all, she was present for the whole process last night. I didn't touch Xia Si Yao at all, but netizens don't think so. The comments section was full of curses. Expel that scumbag. We have to report it to the police. Get justice for Xia Si Yao. Li Wanwan panicked. She looked at the soundly sleeping Xia Si Yao. She hesitated whether to wake her up or not. In the end, she decided to call me first. I had just hung up with Li Xiaodong when Lai Wanwan called. Hello, Wanwan. By this time, I had already thought of a countermeasure. My tone was calm. Brother Jiang, what's with the video on the forum? Should I wake up Xia Si Yao? If she testifies, she can help you clarify things. No need. Let her rest well. I have a way to solve this. I comforted her softly. At this moment, I truly felt that these friends were not made in vain. At least they genuinely care about me. Just you wait. You'll soon find out that I am not someone to be messed with. Posting the video online was clearly meant to start a war of public opinion. To get netizens to dig up my information. Those 2 guys look stupid, but their methods are quite vicious. If Xia Si Yao and I weren't friends, if nothing had happened last night, I might be in jail by now. We're all in university now, so you have to be responsible for your actions. Half an hour later, Li Xiaodong and the others rushed back to the dorm. Old Jiang, you've seen the video, right? I nodded. What's the situation now? Li Xiaodong scratched his head. I am not sure, but if you don't clear this up, your reputation will be completely ruined. The important thing is the school's attitude. What if they expel you directly? It won't come to that. I was very calm. Brother Jiang. How can you be so calm? Qi Zhen was so anxious he was wringing his hands. Once this blows up, it will be hard to resolve. The school has to investigate before they can punish anyone. The corner of my mouth turned up. I didn't touch Xia Si Yao. On what grounds would they expel me? Brother Jiang, you have a plan? The 3 of them looked over at the same time. I was about to open my mouth. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was the head teacher calling. Hello, Teacher Lei. I gestured for them to be quiet. What's this post on the school forum? Teacher La's voice was calm and steady. The dean's office has already contacted me, as expected of a veteran head teacher. Before clarifying the truth, he would absolutely not jump to conclusions. Teacher Lei, last night my roommates and I went out to eat. I recounted the whole incident to the head teacher. I also told him that I was in the dorm right now. Last night, the person who took care of Xia Si Yao was Li Xiaodong's younger sister, Li Wanwan, also Xia Si Yao's roommate. Teacher, After hearing my explanation, Teacher La hummed in acknowledgement and said, "This matter? I understand. I will explain it to the school's leadership. The forum post will also be deleted. Don't show your face for now." I knew Teacher La was protecting me. I smiled and said, "Yes. Thank you, Teacher La." After hanging up, Li Xiaodong and the other two crowded around to ask about the situation. I didn't answer directly but asked back, "Brother Dong, does your family know any lawyers?" Li Xiaodong immediately understood my meaning. He smiled and said, "Don't worry. My dad's company has a legal department. This is a good opportunity to use them. I'll contact them right away." An hour later, Li Xiaodong and I were near the school. We met a middle-aged lawyer in an elegant suit at a coffee shop. He wore gold-rimmed glasses. "Old Zhang, let me introduce you. This is Lawyer Sun Wei from my dad's company. Lawyer Sun, this is my roommate." I walked over and shook Lawyer Sun's hand. "Hello, Lawyer Sun." "Hello, Mr. Jiang." Although Sun Wei was young, his aura was extraordinary. Someone who could be friends with the young master must have an extraordinary future. As the head of the company's legal department, he was very discerning. He immediately greeted me enthusiastically. "Mr. Jiang, young Master Li has already told me about the situation, but I still need you to explain the details more clearly. That way, I can do my utmost to protect your rights, and at the same time, avoid unnecessary trouble. We will definitely find the person who spread the rumor and restore your good name." Sun Wei's words both guaranteed my rights and took my privacy into consideration. As expected of a professional lawyer, he was very thoughtful. I began to recount. Last night, Lai Xiaodong, our two other roommates, and I. Meanwhile, at the Sheraton Hotel, after sleeping for 10 hours, Xia Xiao finally woke up. She was startled to find herself in a hotel room. She hurriedly checked her clothes and found them still on. Only then did she breathe a sigh of relief. "How did I end up here?" she mumbled. Li Wanwan burst into the room. "Xiao, wake up. Something big has happened at school." She pulled up the still drowsy Xi Yao. "The forum has exploded." Xi Yao rubbed her eyes. "What's wrong? Why the rush?" "No time to explain. Put on your shoes." Li Wanwan directly knelt down to help her put on her shoes. In the taxi, Li Wanwan finally took a breath. "You were too drunk last night. I am the one who brought you to the hotel." "What?" Xi Yao suddenly sat up straight, and someone filmed it and posted it online. The original post has been deleted. Li Wanwan bit her lip, but now the whole school is talking about it. Xi Yao's face turned pale. "Is Jiang Chen involved? What did the school say?" Li Wanwan stomped her foot anxiously. "The most worried one is my brother. The school might not be able to handle the pressure." She took out her phone. "Damn it. I can't reach either of them." Xi Yao looked at the scenery rushing past the window, her heart beating faster and faster. The two of them had put their phones on silent mode, completely oblivious to Li Wanwan's calls. "So, it's all because of me that he's being scolded." Xi Yao lowered her head, her voice filled with guilt. "You could say that, but you can't be completely blamed either." Li Wanwan comforted. Who would have thought someone would be secretly filming, and even post it on the school forum, as a roommate? Li Wanwan didn't want to see her blame herself too much. Even though she caused it, Xi Yao didn't do it on purpose. Xi Yao took a deep breath, suddenly looking up to ask, "If I come forward and explain, will that solve it?" Li Wanwan gave a bitter smile. "Right now, the rumors are spreading like wildfire. Even if you explain, people might not believe you. They might even think the school forced you to say it." She didn't know I had already prepared to take the legal route. She could only comfort Xia Yao like this. "So just explaining is useless, huh?" Xi Yao mumbled softly. "What did you say?" Li Wanwan turned her head and asked. "Nothing." Xia Yao shook her head, but her eyes suddenly became determined. She quietly took out her phone and posted an article on the school forum. In the coffee shop near Jiangcheng University, Lawyer Sun and I finally reached an agreement. "Mr. Jiang, rest assured. Although this matter is confined to the school, the original post fabricated facts. It has seriously damaged your reputation. There are still people continuously posting attacks. It's clear that someone is pulling the strings from behind. This matter already constitutes a criminal case." Lawyer Sun pushed up his glasses. "Later, I will, in my capacity as your private lawyer, report this to the police and send a lawyer's letter. If the other party continues to spread rumors, I am confident I can make them go to jail." Lai Xiaodong nodded after hearing this. He patted Lawyer Sun's shoulder. "We're counting on you for this." Lawyer Sun said confidently, "Don't worry, young master. At the very least, we can get the other party in jail for a few days." As they were leaving, Lawyer Sun and I shook hands. I watched him leave the coffee shop. I was just about to get up and go back to school when I discovered I had over 10 missed calls on my phone. All of them were from Li Wanwan. "Old Li, why did your sister call me so many times?" Lai Xiaodong also held up his phone. "Me too. Several missed calls in a row." He immediately called back. Lai Wanwan's hurried voice came from the other end. "Brother, you finally picked up. Don't worry. Xiao has handled it. The school won't give Brother Jiang any trouble. Lai Xiaodong had just hung up the phone with Lawyer Sun when Li Wanwan called. The matter is already settled. Li Wanwan's voice came from the other end of the line. Li Xiaodong was stunned. They had just seen Lawyer Sun off. How could it be resolved so quickly? Even stranger was, Li Wanwan said that Xia Si Yao had resolved it. Li Xiaodong pressed. Wanwan. What on earth is going on? Aya. I don't know how to explain it. You two should just check the forum yourselves. After saying that, Li Wanwan hung up. Li Xiaodong mumbled. So confusing. I asked. What's wrong? Wanwan said, Xia Si Yao has resolved the matter. But she wouldn't elaborate, just told us to check the forum. As he spoke, Lai Xiaodong opened the school forum. A post that was only 10 minutes old had already shot to the top of the hot searches. Its popularity was even higher than the previous slanderous post about me. The title clearly read, Hello everyone. I am Xia Si Yao. Regarding the matter of my boyfriend, Jiang Chen, I would like to clarify a few things. Lai Xiaodong and I looked at each other, bewildered. Since when did I become Xia Si Yao's boyfriend? I clicked to see the post content, which was as follows. Hello everyone. I am Xia Si Yao from Class 8, First Year Business Administration. Last night, I went out to eat with friends and had a little to drink. I just woke up after sleeping until now. I didn't expect to see so many posts about me online. First, Jiang Chen did not do anything inappropriate to me. He just took me to a hotel to rest. Second, Jiang Chen and I are a couple. He has no reason to take advantage of me while I am drunk. Finally, regarding the student who secretly filmed and uploaded the video, I reserve the right to pursue legal action. I hope everyone can follow the drama rationally. Please stop slandering my boyfriend. We just want to be together quietly. Thank you. Although this post was only a little over 200 words long, it left me utterly astonished. This move by Xia Si Yao was too ruthless. She directly used a public relationship announcement to help me clear all the negative rumors. Now, the whole school was gossiping. School started less than a month ago, and the new campus belle has already been won over. Moreover, the other party was the very guy who drank more than 10 bottles of her water in front of everyone. The comment section was a sea of lamentations. If I'd known the campus belle liked this type, I would have gone and drunk a few bottles of water too. Looking at these comments, I finally believed that this crisis had been resolved. Li Xiaodong had a look of disbelief. Old Jiang, are you really dating Xia Si Yao? I shook my head helplessly. You still don't get it? She's using her own reputation to help me out of this siege. Leaving the coffee shop, my feelings were complicated. I never expected Xia Si Yao to go this far. Now the whole school thinks we're a real couple. I turned to leave. Lai Xiaodong hurriedly chased after me. So, are you having a major headache right now? I gave a bitter smile and shook my head. Suddenly having a girlfriend, anyone in my shoes would have a headache. So, are we still sending the lawyer's letter? Li Xiaodong asked hesitantly. I walked towards the lecture building. No need. Since the matter is resolved, tell Lawyer Sun to stop. Actually, Xia Si Yao's method was the most beneficial for me, but I never thought it'd let her sacrifice her reputation to help me. Even though she caused the incident, she was unconscious at the time. Getting secretly filmed was my fault for not being careful. For that reason, I felt even more compelled to use the law to protect my rights. Now that it's resolved, I don't want to pursue it anymore. The school certainly hopes this matter ends here too. Li Xiaodong took out his phone to make a call. Okay, I'll contact Lawyer Sun right now. In the girls' dormitory, Li Wanwan looked at the dazed Xia Si Yao. Si Yao, do you really not regret it? Xia Si Yao turned her head in a daze. Regret? Why would I regret it? But this way, your relationship will be public. Aren't you afraid it will affect your reputation? Xia Si Yao smiled. Of course I care about my reputation, but this is something I should do. He was criticized by everyone because of me. I have to clear his name, even if it means sacrificing my own reputation. Li Wanwan was stunned. The Xia Si Yao before her seemed like a completely different person. It seems Jiang Chen has really changed her a lot in the boys' dormitory. Zhao Kai and Wang Tao stared at the computer screen. Their expressions grew uglier and uglier. Damn it, all the posts have been deleted. Zhao Kai slammed his fist on the desk. Xia Si Yao's post is pinned to the top. Wang Tao was also stunned. The smear campaign they had meticulously planned was ruined just like that. By Xia Si Yao's public announcement, she actually said Jiang Chen is her boyfriend. Zhao Kai was trembling with anger. I did all this to protect her, and this is how she repays me? Wang Tao sighed. Kai, just let it go. She's already publicly taken a side. What more do you want? Zhao Kai suddenly stood up. On what grounds? How am I not as good as him? Why would she rather get a room with him than drink the water I gave her? Wang Tao pointed at the computer. Didn't you see the photo from last night? The guy got out of a Rolls Royce. That car is at least 2 million yuan. Zhao Kai asked with bloodshot eyes. So what? Wang Tao patted his shoulder. Wake up, brother. You won't be able to afford that car even 10 years after graduation. Who knows, maybe she pretended to be drunk on purpose. Zhao Kai pushed Wang Tao away. Bullshit. Si Yao isn't that kind of person. Wang Tao shook his head. Beautiful women have always loved luxury cars. Think about it yourself. After saying that, he grabbed his bag and left for the internet cafe. The dorm door slammed shut, leaving Zhao Kai alone, staring blankly at the computer screen. Zhao Kai was completely brainwashed. He believed that Xia Xiao was a gold digger. In order to cling to a rich young master like me, she wouldn't hesitate to feign drunkenness to get a room. He scrolled through Xi Yao's post, getting angrier the more he thought. Suddenly, he frantically started composing a new post. If you want to be a gold-digging bitch, then don't blame me. Very quickly, the school forum exploded. A new post quickly climbed to the top. The true face of the freshman campus belle. Gold-digging bitch fakes being drunk to get a room with a rich young master. It even noted, I saw it with my own eyes. The post immediately caused an uproar throughout the school, and the comment section was in chaos. So the campus belle is this kind of person. During military training, I offered her water and she didn't drink it. Turns out she looked down on me for being poor. When we in the dorm room saw the post, Li Xiaodong went ballistic. Does this bastard have a death wish? The matter was already over, yet he's still spreading rumors. I stared at those malicious comments, my brows furrowing deeper. These words from Zhao Kai had completely labeled Xia Xiao as a gold digger. This Zhao Kai seems determined to cause trouble. Before long, just as Zhao Kai opened the dorm door, he froze. In front of the door were 3 police officers and a man in a neat suit with gold-rimmed glasses. Are you Zhao Kai? The man with glasses spoke coldly. What do you want? Zhao Kai's voice trembled. Cold sweat was already beating on his back. You spread slanderous rumors about my client online. We are now formally pressing charges against you. The man with glasses pushed them up. The evidence is clear. I didn't. Everything I said is the truth. Zhao Kai was so anxious he jumped up. Without a second word, the police handcuffed him with a click. A case with such a negative impact like yours will get you at least half a month's detention. The police officer's words made Zhao Kai's legs go weak. He almost knelt on the ground. As he was being escorted away, Zhao Kai, in order to reduce his sentence, without hesitation, ratted out Wang Tao, who was playing games at the internet cafe. Half a month later, the two of them walked out of the detention center with ashen faces, only to receive even more devastating news. The school had decided to expel them. It's over. It's really over. Zhao Kai collapsed to the ground. Only now, truly understanding the meaning of disaster comes from the mouth. The news that Zhao Kai and Wang Tao were arrested by the police immediately exploded within the school. 1 second, they were spreading rumors about Xia Xiao online. The next second, Zhao Kai was being escorted away by the police. Although no one knew the specific reason, the students who got into Jiangcheng University were not fools. Everyone guessed that I had acted behind the scenes. This was great. Zhao Kai said I was a rich young master, and that post was, in turn, verified. On the school forum, all sorts of speculations were flying around. Everyone was discussing what kind of background I could possibly have to be able to go to such lengths for Xia Xiao. Old Zhang, look at this. Li Xiaodong, lying on his bed, scrolling through his phone, suddenly burst out laughing. Someone started a thread to dig into your mysterious identity. A week passed, and the incident with Zhao Kai gradually faded from memory. But the discussions about me grew more and more heated. All kinds of wild speculations appeared one after another. They all said I was a top-tier, hidden rich young master. Li Xiaodong suddenly jumped off his bed. He approached with a serious expression. Come clean. Are you really a rich young master or not? I didn't look up and continued reading my book. Do you think if I were a rich young master, I would have been so poor during military training that I had to go back to the dorm to get water? Actually, my family isn't poor. Just a normal family that runs a Hunan restaurant. We earn over 100,000 a year, but they have to support me and my sister through university. Plus, the rent increases every year. There's really not much money left over. My dad has always wanted to expand the restaurant and earn a bit more, but the high property prices have kept him from realizing that dream. I smiled and waved my hand. Brother Dong, stop joking. My family really doesn't have money. Li Xiaodong looked skeptical. Old Jiang, still pretending with me? I said helplessly. Believe it or not, my family is just ordinary. Li Xiaodong paused for a moment. Then let me ask a different question. Exactly how much money do you have? I calculated in my head. Last time, after spending money at Heping Huang Yan, I had over 500,000 left on my card. This week, thanks to the money blessing, I earned another 200,000. Now, I have over 800,000 inches total. Right now, I probably have over 800,000 inches. My card. As I spoke, I casually withdrew today's income from the money blessing. Ding. A notification sound came from my phone. Your construction bank account has received 28,000 yuan. Current balance, 818,200. Holy crap. Li Xiaodong's eyes widened. Didn't you just spend all your money on a Patek Philippe? If I spend it, can I earn it back? I gave a mysterious smile. This smile pierced deep into Li Xiaodong's heart. As a fake rich young master with only 20,000 inches living expenses per month, seeing me earn money so easily. He was dealt a heavy blow. Damn it. I shouldn't have asked. Dejected, Li Xiaodong climbed back into bed, internally calculating whether he should ask his dad for an increase in his living expenses. Otherwise, he really couldn't maintain this rich young master image anymore. I laughed and pulled Li Xiaodong back. Don't be sad. Tonight at Heping Huangyan is my treat. This afternoon, let's go check out the Wanxiang shopping center first. National Day is coming up. I plan to use up all the cards, the remaining consumption rebate and food rebate cards. I'll try to raise my savings to 1 million. That way, I can be a bit more confident when I go home to see my parents. Really? As soon as Li Xiaodong heard Heping Huangyan, his face lit up. Old Jiang, from now on, you're my godfather. Get lost. I pushed him away in disgust. Who needs a godson like you? Oh, right. Remember to call Wan and Sai Yao too. I happen to need their help with something. Without a second word, Li Xiaodong took out his phone to call Li Wan. Hello. Wan, hurry and get ready. Young Master Jiang is treating tonight. Remember to call Sai Yao too. Li Wan on the other end of the line was a bit surprised. She wasn't as thick-skinned as Li Xiaodong. Over this period, we had become good friends. She always felt it wasn't right to always let me treat Si Yao. Li Wan walked to Si Yao's bedside. Brother Jiang is inviting us to eat. Are you going? Didn't he run out of money? Si Yao closed her book. Is it Heping Huangyan again? My brother didn't say, but it's 80% likely. Li Wan said, while changing her clothes. So, are you going? Si Yao said seriously. Yes, but I am paying this time. Again. Li Wan teased with a mischievous smile. You're not even dating yet, and you're already feeling sorry for his wallet. Si Yao immediately blushed. What nonsense are you talking about? Being exposed on the spot by Li Wan, Si Yao's face turned beet red. It's not like that, she retorted stubbornly. The two of them started to change clothes. The four of them successfully met at the school gate. Li Wan smiled and asked how Brother Jiang's plans were for the day. Strolling and eating are both fine. I guarantee you'll be satisfied. Let's go shopping first. For National Day, I want to buy some gifts for my parents before going home. You guys can help me pick something. Tonight, I'll treat you all to Heping Huangyan. Hearing Heping Huangyan, the two girls looked at each other. As expected, he was generous. They were secretly happy. They had already prepared themselves to treat him. It would be a good chance to repay the favor from last time. If I knew they were thinking that, I would definitely say, don't make trouble. Not fighting me, for the bill is already a huge help. Brother Jiang, if you want to buy gifts for your aunt and uncle, I know a really good place. Before, I used to go shopping there with my mom. The things there are very suitable for giving gifts, Li Wan said smugly. We took a taxi to the largest shopping mall in Jiangnan. Brother Jiang wants to. What gift are you buying? Li Wan asked, linking arms with Si Dao. I thought for a moment and said, I'll buy a watch for my dad, and a necklace for my mom. A Rolex watch and a Tiffany necklace aren't bad, but together, they'll cost tens of thousands. Li Wan reminded me. I said generously, it's only tens of thousands. We're not going home today if we don't spend 200,000. Li Wan and everyone else were shocked. They didn't expect me to be so generous. Actually, I was planning to use a cashback card. That way, my savings can exceed 1 million. Oh, right. I still have to go to Taku Hui to buy a set of recovery essence for my little sister. She must be sunburnt after finishing her military training. If I don't bring a gift back for her, she'll definitely nag me when I get home. The cosmetic set from last time worked quite well. The four of us in the dorm have all gotten our fair skin back now. Li Wan patted her chest and said, Brother Jiang, leave this to me. I have the wetchet of the salesperson from last time. What about me? Li Xiaodong, who had been silent, suddenly spoke up. You can just be in charge of carrying the bags. I'll treat you to dinner tonight. I teased with a smile. Li Wan immediately cooperated and handed 2 bags full of cosmetics to Li Xiaodong. Haha, we finally found a use for you. Li Xiaodong happily carried a bag in each hand and followed us to the Rolex counter. Half an hour later, I spent 100,000 to buy an entry-level Rolex watch. I also bought 2 Tiffany necklaces, one for my little sister. Today happens to be her 18th birthday. She should have some decent jewelry. After scanning the payment code, I used a consumer cashback card. My luck wasn't bad. The 3x cashback directly earned me 200,000, and I got the watch and necklaces for free. This time, my savings finally surpassed 1 million. Suddenly, the system's notification sound rang in my head. Ding. Congratulations to the host for assets exceeding 1 million. You've achieved the first stage goal of a perfect life. The reward is a 90% off real estate coupon, with a maximum savings of 9 million, and a 90% off vehicle coupon, with a maximum savings of 2.7 million. I was completely stunned. This means for a 10 million house, I only need to pay 1 million. For a 3 million luxury car, I only need to pay 300,000. These two one-time use coupons directly save me over 10 million. This feeling is just too amazing. The system suddenly showed another notification. Stage 2 reward. A primary securities investment company. You need to register the company and build the framework yourself. Upon completion, the system will enhance the employee's skills, guaranteeing an annual profit of over 10% on capital up to 100 million. Special reminder, when an employee's loyalty is not yet at 100, do not let them become core members under any circumstances. This reward isn't as direct as the discount coupons, but its advantage is long-term sustainability. As long as I establish the company, I can earn money steadily. In the future, I can just invest any spare cash I have. It would be great to have money make money. Before I could even process it, the third wave of rewards arrived. Virtual data glasses. Wearing them allows you to see through all of another person's data. Favorability, loyalty, and weaknesses are all within my grasp. Social interaction is basically a game hack. I tried putting on the glasses and looked at Li Xiaodong next to me. Name, Li Xiaodong, 85. Relationship, best friend. Background, Crown Prince of the Lai Corporation. I turned to look at Lai Wanwan. What surprised me was, her favorability towards me was as high as 86. Just 4 more points and I could win her over. Looking at this petite lolly girl with her alluring curves, I shook my head helplessly. An appearance score of 85 is considered top tier at the university, and her family has assets of 1 billion. If it were anyone else, they would have made a move long ago. But I don't want to become my brother's brother-in-law. Out of curiosity, I looked over at Ha Xidao. The system displayed, name, Ha Xidao, favorability, 89. Relationship, more than friends, less than lovers. Background, mother deceased. Father is the chairman of Dingxing Real Estate, but the company will go bankrupt at the end of the year. An appearance score of 95 truly befits the title of Campus Belle, but a favorability of 89 really surprised me. After all, we've had 2 unpleasant encounters. I didn't expect her to have such high favorability towards me. Just 1 step away from intimacy. I couldn't help but glance at her, just in time to meet her gaze. The two of us locked eyes. The atmosphere suddenly became ambiguous. Ha Xidao's face turned red, and she hurriedly turned away. Li Xiaodong said, with a wicked grin, "Old Jiang, have you looked enough? You even got caught peeking. Your technique is too poor." I rolled my eyes helplessly. I couldn't be bothered with him. To be honest, although Li Xiaodong is lewd all day long, being with him is more comfortable. He can take a joke, and he's also reliable. After buying the gifts, we were loaded with bags, ready to go eat. Suddenly, a phone rang in Ha Xidao's bag. She took out her phone and hesitated when she saw the caller's name. Seeing that we were all looking at her, she gritted her teeth and answered the video call. A woman with heavy makeup appeared on the screen. "Ha Xidao, I heard you're dating at school. Didn't I already find a blind date for you? Are you treating my words like they're just wind in your ears?" The woman pointed at the screen and yelled. Ha Xidao lowered her head and said nothing. "Why is there a man next to you? Could he be your lover? I am warning you." Before she could finish, Ha Xidao hung up the phone directly, fearing she would say even harsher things. I frowned. Didn't the system say Ha Xidao's mother had passed away? Could this be her stepmother? I asked softly. "Are you okay?" She shook her head. "I am fine. It's just a family matter." It was clear she didn't want to say more. We tacitly understood and didn't ask further. "It's already past 6 o'clock. Let's go to Ping Huang Yan." I booked a private room for 7. Li Xiaodong changed the subject at the right time. Li Wanwan linked arms with Ha Xidao. "Don't pay any attention to that evil woman. You'll feel better after a good meal." Seeing our concerned looks, Ha Xidao forced a smile. "Let's go. I am hungry too." Although this shopping trip had a small hiccup, overall, it was still very satisfying. Not only did I buy gifts for my family, but I also used the cashback card to accumulate 1 million in savings, and I even got 2 90% off shopping coupons. An hour later, we moved on to Ping Huang Yan. This time the private room was a bit smaller, but the menu had been updated. Given the quality of this restaurant, the taste was certainly not bad. As soon as Li Xiaodong sat down, he asked me, "Old Jiang, how about some wine?" I glanced at Ha Xidao. She immediately lowered her head. "You guys drink." "I am not drinking." Li Wanwan chimed in with a smile. "Xidao isn't drinking. I'll drink with you guys." Li Xiaodong called the waiter. 2 bottles of wine, please." As soon as the waiter left, Li Wanwan signaled to her brother. Li Xiaodong understood. He stood up. "I am going to the restroom for a bit." After saying that, he slipped out. Why is he being so mysterious today? As I was muttering, Li Xiaodong came back with his phone. "Did you go pay the bill?" He shrugged, not denying it. Ha Xidao quickly said, "Wanwan, I said this meal was my treat." Lai Wanwan quickly mediated. "You can treat us next time. There are still many delicious dishes here." Ha Xidao still wanted to argue, but her phone suddenly rang. Seeing the caller-eyed mom, her expression tensed up again. Ha Xidao hesitated for a moment, then still answered, "You brat, how dare you hang up on me just now? I'm asking you, where the hell are you? Who's that man? I already found a blind date for you. You're still fooling around outside, aren't you?" The woman's furious roar came through the phone. "Who that person is has nothing to do with you. As for the blind date, hey, which rich second generation are you planning to sell me to this time? What do you mean it's for my own good? Isn't it just to use me in exchange for money? Stop being so hypocritical here." After saying that, Ha Si-dao hung up again and directly switched to airplane mode. The three of us watched Ha Si-dao lose emotional control and were momentarily stunned. From her words, I roughly understood the gist of the story. Her stepmother doesn't treat her well. Now her family's company is facing a capital chain rupture, so she wants to use her for a marriage alliance in exchange for investment. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but feel sorry for Ha Si-dao. No wonder she's always frowning and looking gloomy. It turns out she's been shouldering such pressure. Li Wan carefully asked Si-dao, "Are you okay?" Ha Si-dao forced a smile. "I am fine. You guys don't need to worry." But the loneliness in her eyes couldn't be hidden. "It's good that you're fine." Although we knew she was very sad, we didn't know how to comfort her either. We had to change the subject. Just then, the waiter brought in 2 bottles of wine and poured one into a decanter. "Sir, may we serve the dishes now?" Lai Xiaodong nodded. "Yes, bring them all out." I chimed in. "That's right, eating something will make you feel better." Ha Si-dao's eyes were glued to the wine in the decanter. "Let's drink." She seemed to have forgotten that she said she wouldn't drink earlier. None of us said anything and quietly drank with her. "Thank you guys." Ha Si-dao took a sip of wine and suddenly said, "In all my years, the only people who would sincerely drink with me are you guys." "Si-dao, don't be like that. We're all friends. Come on, let's have a drink together." The Wan raised her glass and said cheerfully. The 4 of us clinked glasses. Ha Si-dao tilted her head back and downed it. The rich aroma of the wine spread in her mouth. Her cheeks quickly flushed red. "Do you guys know?" Ha Si-dao said drunkenly. "Liu Yan, that woman, ever since she married my father, has always found me to be an eyesore. Now she wants to sell me off for money." She waved her arms excitedly, almost falling off her chair. I quickly caught her. "You've had too much to drink," I advised. "Don't drink anymore." Li Wan chimed in. "That's right. Si-dao, not all the dishes are here yet, and you're already about to get drunk." Ha Si-dao said stubbornly, "I am not drunk. I'd rather die than marry that blind date. If it weren't for Liu Yan, my mom wouldn't have." This sentence stunned all of us. Li Wan held her hand tightly. Li Xiaodong said calmly, "If you die, wouldn't that be exactly what she wants? The company would completely belong to her." Ha Si-dao suddenly raised her head, seemingly a bit more sober. She said with a choked voice, "Then what should I do? My dad will definitely agree for the sake of the company." Li Xiaodong pushed up his glasses. "It's actually very simple. Just find a boyfriend before the marriage, who can stand up to them, and the problem will be solved. Of course, it has to be someone you like." Lai Xiaodong burped and said drunkenly, "Find a boyfriend who can stand up to them." When Ha Si-dao heard this, her gaze subconsciously fell on me. Among the people she knew, it seemed only I fit these 2 conditions. Ever since those 2 incidents, her feelings for me had become very complicated. Even she wasn't sure if it was a crush or not. Moreover, from my daily behavior, it seemed like I was quite wealthy. These 2 points happened to match the conditions Li Xiaodong mentioned. Spurred on by the alcohol, Ha Si-dao looked at me with drowsy, drunken eyes. I turned my head and looked at her doubtfully. "What's wrong?" Our eyes met, and this time, Ha Si-dao didn't look away. She bit her lip and suddenly mustered up the courage to say, "Can I be your girlfriend?" I was completely stunned. I never expected Ha Si-dao to confess so suddenly. This was too sudden. Li Wan and Li Xiaodong were also astonished. Although Li Xiaodong's words had unintentionally pointed towards me, he thought that even if things developed quickly between us, it would still take a process. He never expected Ha Si-dao to be so direct. Ding. Detected. Ha Si-dao's favorability has reached 90. Relationship has reached the level of intimate lovers. Option 1, reject the confession. Reward, 5 million. Option 2, accept the confession. T reward, stock market trend card plus maximum favorability. I was momentarily lost in thought. Both rewards were very tempting. 5 million in cash or a miracle card that can predict stock market trends. The system's notification sound rang in my head. Favorability with the opposite sex at 100. Love until death do us part. Favorability with the same sex at 100. Ride or die friends. I stared at Ha Si-dao in front of me. The title of freshman campus belle was not for nothing. It would be a lie to say I wasn't moved. But agreeing to her now felt like I was taking advantage of her while she was in trouble. While I was hesitating, Ha Si-dao lunged forward. She had a bit too much to drink and her feet stumbled, and her whole body fell into my arms. Our lips accidentally touched. Her lips were very soft, with a faint scent of wine. My first kiss was gone, just like that. Ha Si-dao's whole body was limp in my arms, not resisting at all. It seems the favorability the system mentioned was real. Beside us, Li Xiaodong's eyes widened. Is she my sister-in-law now? Li Wanwan stood there, with a complicated expression. She also had feelings for me, but now it seemed there was no chance anymore. I scanned Li Wanwan, and found her favorability towards me had increased from 86 to 90. She had become my close friend, but I didn't have the mind to pay attention to that now. Ding. The system suddenly displayed a notification. Passive choice detected. Reward has been sent to your account. Stock market trend card. Allows you to view the trend of any stock for the next month. 2. Hasidao's favorability has reached the maximum of 100. Love until death do us part. I directly closed the system notification. A beauty was in my arms right now, who would want to listen to the system ramble, but I could feel Hasidao's body getting hotter, as if she was ready to respond to me at any moment. A favorability of 100 meant she had given her entire heart to me, unchanging until death. Li Xiaodong suddenly spoke up, breaking the ambiguous atmosphere in the room. We came here to eat, right? Or maybe, I should have the driver take you guys back first. His tone was both helpless and resentful, just like a single dog being forced to witness a public display of affection. Hasidao and I finally separated. Her gaze was like silk, full of love. As she looked at me. Ahem. I cleared my throat. Hasidao wanted to return to her seat, but I pulled her back. Just sit here. She obediently hummed in agreement, and sat closely beside me. Li Wanwan teased. It's over. Sidao. You've completely fallen. If I had known, I should have let Brother Jiang treat us. Treating someone to a meal only to be fed dog food. Today was such a loss for him. She adjusted her mood very quickly. Knowing there was no chance, she could still joke around. Li Xiaodong teased. Old Jiang, how about you give me the money back? I paid for the meal and still had to eat dog food. This little heart of mine can't take it. Li Wanwan also chimed in. I don't mind, but Ha Sidao's face turned even redder, and she lowered her head, not daring to look at them. All right, I'll treat you to He Ping Huang Yen 3 times. Consider it compensation. I have the cashback card anyway. I can even make a profit. Only then was Li Xiaodong satisfied. He raised his glass and said, Come on. Congratulations to you two for getting together. I shook my head. What's the fun in using a glass? Let's drink straight from the bottle. Haha. We're not going home until we're drunk. Li Xiaodong laughed heartily. We ordered a beer tower. We ate and drank. After 3 rounds of drinks, Li Xiaodong asked, Old Jiang, what are your plans next? I looked at Ha Sidao. Listen to my girlfriend. Ha Sidao's family is in real estate. Logically, they shouldn't be short on funds. Perhaps they were targeted by someone, and the bank blocked their loan. But Ha Sidao shook her head. From the day my father had an affair, that house has had nothing to do with me anymore. Mentioning her mother, her voice grew somber. I understood after hearing that there must be more to this story, but seeing that Ha Sidao was in a bad mood, I didn't ask much. If she said so, I certainly wouldn't take the initiative to get involved. Even if she needs help later, Ha Sidao would have to be the one to ask. Besides, the system reminded me that her father's company won't go bankrupt until the end of the year. What's the rush now? I changed the subject. Brother Dong, do you have any suggestions for a car around 3 million yuan? That 90% off real estate coupon. I plan to buy a storefront for my parents in Shangcheng. Li Xiaodong couldn't help with that, but asking him about buying a car was definitely the right move. Even though Li Xiaodong only has 20,000 inches allowance each month, he's still a genuine rich second generation. He still has the vision and knowledge. Li Xiaodong was shocked. A 3 million yuan car. Old Jiang, you want to buy a car? Holy crap, just how rich is your family? It wasn't just him. Li Wanwan and Ha Sidao were also stunned. Before, they thought me buying a Patek Philippe was already extravagant. Later, they found out it was just money I earned from stocks. Now my card balance is 800,000, and I am talking about buying a 3 million yuan car. What kind of monstrous family is this? We're both rich second generations, so why is the gap so huge? Especially when he saw me holding Ha Sidao. Li Xiaodong felt even more indignant. I have money, if I want money. I have girls if I want girls. And I am so cool myself, compared to him. I feel like a good-for-nothing. Indignant or not, I still had to answer the question. Old Jiang, is there any specific car model you want to buy, like a sports car? For example, I thought for a moment. I don't really have any specific ideas. Just one requirement. It can't be just for show. Li Xiaodong said seriously. I don't really recommend buying a sports car from BBA. It's not that their sports cars are bad. It's just that a 3 million yuan sports car isn't that great. Sports cars under 10 million yuan are all watered-down versions. All you get is a loud exhaust. If you're driving it yourself, I'd suggest a luxury SUV or a coupe wouldn't be bad. For example, the Mercedes G-Class, Audi R8, or BMW M8. I listened to Li Xiaodong ramble on and felt quite impressed. He clearly couldn't afford one, yet he knew so much about these cars, but it always felt a bit strange. Why did we end up back at BBA after all that talk? Actually, BBA isn't all just 300,000 or 400,000 yuan cars. At the million yuan luxury car level, These 3 brands are considered the entry point. To be able to sell so well domestically, there's indeed a reason for it, but it's too early to talk about this now. Even if I want to buy a car, it'll have to wait until after the National Day holiday and return to Jiangnan to avoid scaring my parents by driving it home. When is the auto show in Jiangnan? Let's go check it out after we get back from the National Day holiday. Just talking about it here isn't reliable. How can you know what car you want without test driving it yourself? Li Xiaodong nodded with an excited expression. That's true. I'll keep an eye out for you during this time. I'll let you know as soon as I hear anything. Even though he wasn't buying the car, being able to ride in it was just as good for him. Li Wanwan asked doubtfully, Brother Jiang, your family is really generous, buying a 3 million yuan car right after starting university. After all, 3 million is not a small amount. How could an ordinary family just buy one whenever they want? It's not entirely paid for by my family. I explained. I earned some of the money myself. My family subsidized the rest. Li Xiaodong was immediately interested. How much did your family chip in? Not much. Only 2.7 million. I contributed 1/10. I couldn't help but laugh. After saying it, those words sounded so strange. Damn, old Jiang, you've gone too far. That's what you call chipping in? Li Xiaodong had a defeated look on his face, but on second thought, he had seen my bank balance before. It was over 800,000. Actually, my family asking me to contribute money was just a formality. With my money-making ability, buying a 3 million car on my own was just a matter of time. Li Xiaodong was completely convinced. Brother Jiang, let me cling to your thigh. At least at this moment, he admired me to the core. Li Xiaodong sighed. A life with 20,000 a month. I really can't live like this anymore. It was better before. Now he's with me every day, seeing me casually spend over 100,000 on things, and now even wanting to buy a 3 million car. In comparison, he felt he was too poor. Wait a minute, Li Xiaodong suddenly remembered. This afternoon, Li Wanwan had given him a card. It had 1 million in savings. Now he could be considered rich too, but he just couldn't get used to it yet. He always felt like he was still that poor kid. You can just take over Uncle Li's company after you graduate. I took a sip of the tea Hasi Dao handed me. The entire corporation will be yours then. Why would you need to cling to someone else's thigh? Do I have to wait until graduation then? Li Xiaodong said hurriedly. 4 years is too long. Actually, you don't have to wait that long. In his 3rd year, Uncle Li Tianming will probably let him get involved with the company, give him some capital to practice with. But for the 1st and 2nd years, he should still focus on theory. If you really want my help, it's not impossible. I put down my teacup. But my securities investment company will take at least 2 more weeks to be established, I said with a frown. You know my spending money all comes from the stock market, but the amount of capital I am controlling has reached my limit, so I have to withdraw the profits every day. This statement was not wrong. In the stock market, the larger the capital, the higher the difficulty of operation. When buying and selling, too much capital is like a dragon stranded in shallow water. It's hard to even turn around. Just one small slip-up, and profits can turn into losses. Li Xiaodong studies finance, so of course he understood this principle. Besides, he saw me withdraw profits every day with his own eyes. I said seriously to Li Xiaodong, I need you to help me establish a securities investment company. To be honest, establishing it on my own, a securities company is too difficult. Just on the talent side, I don't have any leads. Even though the system guarantees that after the company is established, it can upgrade the skills of core employees and guarantee the annual rate of return. But a company is not that simple. Management staff, administrative staff, financial staff, not a single one can be missing. Only after this entire structure is built can the company be truly established. Just registering a company and renting an office doesn't count. When Li Xiaodong heard this, he finally understood my plan. After the company is established, I will train the key employees. I can't promise much, but I can guarantee that as long as the capital doesn't exceed 100 million, the annual rate of return will be over 10%. I am telling the truth. With Li Xiaodong, I don't need to hide anything. Our relationship is already that of best friends. He won't harm me. Of course, I still chose to keep the system's existence a secret, but a 10% annual rate of return. I didn't think it was a big deal, but I forgot. Li Xiaodong and the others were all stunned after hearing it. After training, they can manage 100 million and even guarantee a 10% annual profit. This is too exaggerated. Li Xiaodong had a look of disbelief. Brother Jiang, you're not kidding, are you? It wasn't just him. Even Li Wanwan and the person leaning on my shoulder, Hasi Dao, all showed looks of astonishment. Li Wanwan hesitated and said, Brother Jiang, we believe in your abilities, but can training others also achieve this level? Although Hasi Dao was also very surprised at first, she quickly chose to trust me. I believe you. I can be your first client. She drunkenly leaned on my shoulder and said her mother left her over 3 million. The remaining 2.7 million is all yours. These words stunned the 3 of us. I didn't expect the one who usually doesn't show it, Hasi Dao, was actually the richest among the 4 of us. I only have 1.2 million. Not even half of what she has, but with my money-making speed, Surpassing her is just a matter of time. This is the money your mother left you, I said with a smile, holding her. Aren't you afraid I'll lose it all for you? Not afraid. Hasidao snuggled into my arms like a kitten. If you lose it all, you'll have to support me for the rest of my life. I looked smugly at Li Xiaodong. Brother Dong. My girlfriend has even brought out her dowry. You still don't believe me? Li Xiaodong rolled his eyes. I can help you find people. Although my dad is strict, I can find people for all the positions in the company for you. As expected, having Li Xiaodong handle things is really convenient. It saves a lot of trouble. It's decided then. You can go ahead and find the people first. Well, decide on the office location after the National Day holiday. Without waiting for Li Xiaodong's explanation, I made the decision for him directly. This meal took 2 hours. When we left Yiping Huangyan, it was already completely dark. In the back seat of the Rolls-Royce, Li Wanwan and Hasidao were both asleep. Li Xiaodong and I were still wide awake. When it came to making money, Li Xiaodong was particularly excited. I held Hasidao, letting her lean on my shoulder. Brother Jiang, is hiring 20 people enough? Every department needs people, but the salary is too high. 7,000 per person. That's 140,000 inches salaries per month, plus a 200 square meter office. The rent is 50 or 60,000. The monthly expenditure is 200,000, and that's not even counting utilities. Starting a company really isn't easy. Li Xiaodong muttered from the passenger seat. I held Hatu Dao and looked out the window. Starting a company is obviously not simple, I said with a smile. Running a company requires connecting all the dots well. What Li Xiaodong said was just the basics. There are still many truly complicated matters, but I don't need to worry about these things. I can just hire someone. An administrative director will do. By my calculations, the company's monthly expenses are about 250,000. The annual expenses are 3 million. But if we can attract nearly 100 million in capital, the annual profit will be at least 10 million. Even after giving half to the clients, the company can still make a profit. It's not much, but it can balance the books. The Rolls-Royce was moving, and Li Xiaodong was still muttering. I was about to doze off. It was already 11 o'clock when we reached the school. The students were still full of energy on the weekend. They had no intention of resting at all. Students were coming and going through the school gate. I woke up the sleeping Hatu Dao and Li Uyen. Hatu Dao had slept for over an hour. Although she was still groggy and unsteady, she could barely walk with my support. Li Xiaodong followed behind. Carrying big and small bags of clothes, he looked quite pitiful. Li Yui and Uyen's condition was much better. The cold wind woke her right up. After all, she wasn't like Hatu Dao, who gets knocked out by one glass but still forced herself to finish a bottle. Now she was hanging all over me. The four of us slowly walked along the small path on campus. It felt like a peaceful moment. Ha! Tu Dao suddenly called out to me softly. I looked down. I don't know when she had lifted her head. She was looking at me intently. I stroked her head. What's wrong? Promise me you won't leave me, okay? No matter what happens, don't leave me. After her affection level maxed out, Tu Dao's entire heart was devoted to me. She also developed a deep attachment and became insecure. After becoming her boyfriend, I suddenly developed an intense desire to protect her. I wanted to protect her well. Perhaps it was the system's influence. Back when I chose to accept her, the system had reminded me to take good care of her. I am really so scared you'll leave. Hatu Dao's eyes turned red. She was on the verge of tears. Don't worry, I'll never leave you in this lifetime. I don't like making empty promises. I am more used to proving things with actions. Hatu Dao was willing to take out the money her mother left her to support me. A girl like that, what reason do I have to let her down? Under the dim streetlight, Hatu Dao stood on her tiptoes and gently closed her eyes. I naturally leaned down and kissed her. Li Yuan and Li Xiaodong, walking behind us, were completely stunned. They stared blankly for 3 seconds. Li Yuan silently walked around us. Li Xiaodong sighed helplessly. You two will have plenty of private time later. Don't flaunt your relationship in front of me at night. I am heading back to the dorm first. Brother Jiang, if you're not coming back, remember to send a text. He picked up the shopping bags. He muttered as he walked away. Young people these days have no consideration for the feelings of us single dogs. Hatu Dao and I took a leisurely stroll. We took half an hour to walk a few hundred meters. Just as we were about to reach the dorm, I saw Li Uyen sitting on a bench by the entrance, waiting. Get a good rest tonight. I'll take you shopping tomorrow. I cut off what Hatu Dao was about to say. No, refusing. This is what I should do. If you don't need me to do anything at all, then this boyfriend of yours is too useless. Hatu Dao nodded obediently. I'll listen to you. She stood on her tiptoes and kissed my cheek. Then I'll head up first. After taking 3 steps, she turned her head back once, then joined Li Yuan. I stood downstairs watching them go up before turning to leave. As soon as I got back to the dorm, Ka, Chan, and Lu Vu surrounded me. Brother Jiang. Brother Dong said you won over the campus belle. Ha, quick, tell us what it feels like to date the campus belle. Li Xiaodong was sitting at his desk writing something. He smiled without looking up. seeing their curious expressions. Li Dong couldn't help but speak up. Love has a sour stench. I advise you guys to stay away from Brother Jiang and Hatu Dao in the future. Otherwise, you won't need to eat anymore. I immediately retorted. Then I won't take you to Hobin Hoangyan next time. After all, you don't need to eat when you're with us. Li Dong immediately surrendered. Don't. Brother Jiang, I was just kidding. You still have to take me, right? Knock, knock. There was a knock on the office door. A middle-aged man in a neat suit walked in. Looking up, it was Li Min, President Li. The kids were the same as usual today, but little Dong said he wants to start a company, and he wants to poach people from you. Li Min was immediately interested. He stood up and walked to the sofa. Tell me in detail what kind of company he wants to start. A stock investment company. He's serious this time. He's preparing to invest that entire 1 million. Li Min couldn't help but laugh. That kid has changed. He usually hesitates even to spend 2,000. Now he dares to invest 1 million. Li Min realized his son and daughter had become a little unfamiliar after starting university. Li Dong suddenly wants to start a company, and Li Wuyen isn't stopping him. Interesting. Uncle Vuong took the glass of water Li Min offered. After thanking him, he said, the young master said he's opening it for his roommate, Jiang then. Jiang then promised he can train the staff and guarantee an annual interest rate of at least 10%. Li Min frowned. A 10% annual interest rate, even for a finance professional. A veteran wouldn't dare guarantee it. Yet Jiang then dares to boast. Uncle Vuong continued his report. They plan to attract 90 million in capital. Added to their own funds, that's nearly 100 million. They've set a small goal right from the start. Uncle Vuong said doubtfully. President Lai, aren't you going to stop them? This will obviously fail. Li Min walked to the window, looked at the night scenery, and said, I originally planned to let him get involved with the company in his 3rd year and do an internship in his 4th. It's good that it's happening earlier now, thanks to Jiang Then's appearance. Li Dong is maturing faster than expected. Not only does he want to start a company, he even wants to poach my people. Li Min decided not only to not stop him, but to support him. Give them 20 million in client funds. Let him do as he pleases. Uncle Vuong, sitting on the sofa, said in astonishment, President Li, you know, that Hu Dong's company will definitely go bankrupt. They're just a bunch of inexperienced students. Li Min interrupted him. We must support his first startup if he loses money. So be it. As long as the source of the funds isn't revealed, let him reflect on his own after he goes bankrupt, exchanging 20 million for his growth. Isn't it worth it? Uncle Vuong was silent. 20 million to cultivate someone would seem crazy to an ordinary person. But for Li Min, Li Dong is his successor. Losing 20 million now is better than losing 1 billion in the future. Uncle Vuong nodded. I understand, President Lai. Poaching people isn't important. The money isn't important either. What's important is that Li Dong can mature. Li Min waved his hand. Don't tell little Dong about this. Uncle Vuong left the office. Li Min stood by the window and whispered, Don't disappoint me. Back in the dorm. I knew nothing about this. Even if I knew, I wouldn't care. I have the system. I can't possibly lose money. I can handle another few tens of millions. In the dorm, I had just finished showering and was lying comfortably on my bed. The night was quiet. A perfect time to take stock of my gains. I opened the system panel. Finally, I saw that stock market trend card. This was the system reward for accepting Hatu Dao's confession last time. It allows me to know the stock market trends for 1 month in advance. Used well, it can make a fortune. For example, stock rules. 22 trading days. Theoretically, the highest profit could be double. But in reality, it's very difficult, because stocks go up and down. Stable stocks usually fluctuate within 3%. To maximize profits, I need to prepare enough principal. I also have to choose the right stocks with large fluctuations. I could also go to foreign stock markets. Buying and selling is more flexible there, but exchanging foreign currency is an issue. And right now, I have too little capital. Playing the stock market now would be a waste of this card. My plan is to go back to Tuong then and buy a house first, then use the property as collateral to get a loan. I'll wait until I have enough capital to use this card. After taking stock of my gains, I exited the system space and looked at the clock. It was almost 3 a.m. Thinking about having to go shopping with Hatu Dao tomorrow, I quickly closed my eyes to sleep. At 10 a.m. the next day, I woke up to find the dorm empty. I called Li Dong. That guy had already started making his moves, poaching people from his dad's company. On WeChat, Hatu Dao had sent a good morning, along with a love you sticker. I smiled and replied with a similar sticker. This simple sweetness makes one feel very warm. Half an hour later, I arrived downstairs at her dorm and saw Hatu Dao dressed beautifully. I walked over and asked, Have you had breakfast? She answered in a low voice, Not yet. Actually. Li Yuan had already asked her to eat. She deliberately waited for me to go with her. We walked hand in hand to the cafeteria, attracting quite a few envious gazes. We had a simple meal of soy milk and steamed buns. We finished breakfast in just over 10 minutes. Today's goal is to complete 400,000 inches spending, but trying to spend that much by buying clothes and cosmetics is really not easy. If that doesn't work, I'll buy some expensive jewelry. In the shopping mall, we wandered aimlessly. Every time I asked if she wanted to buy anything, Ha Tu Dao would shake her head and refuse. Clothes, cosmetics, shoes, she said. She didn't need any of them. I asked helplessly. Tu Dao, is there nothing you want to buy? She held my arm, occasionally brushing against the softness of her chest, although I was enjoying it. I came here today to spend money. Having such a frugal girlfriend is truly a sweet annoyance. Ha Tu Dao shook her head. Her mother had left her enough living expenses. She could buy whatever she wanted on her own. I was a bit worried. How am I going to spend this 400,000? Ha Tu Dao saw me frowning and thought I was angry. She quickly said, actually, there is one thing I want to buy. I am just afraid you won't want to go with me. My eyes lit up. We're here to buy things for you. Tell me, what do you want to buy? I hoped she would name something expensive, preferably something that would use up the 400,000 inches one go. Ha, Tu Dao blushed. She pointed not far away. I looked in that direction and was instantly stunned. It turned out to be a lingerie store. Ha Tu Dao explained in a small voice, I am still growing. The ones I bought before are all too small now. They're uncomfortable to wear, so I want to get new ones. She saw me hesitating. She quickly added, if you don't want to go, I can go buy them myself. I was hesitating when the system suddenly sounded, ting, random quest activated. Option 1, refuse to enter the lingerie store. Reward, bottom line card. When maintaining your bottom line, money will be doubled. Option 2, go shopping with your girlfriend. Reward, good man card. Satisfying your girlfriend's wish will grant a random reward. Both are permanent cards. Which one should I choose? Hearing the system's mission, I hesitated. If possible, I'd want both. But the system clearly stated I could only choose one. I stopped. Ha Tu Dao turned to look at me. What's wrong? Tu Dao, do you really want me to go with you? A flicker of anticipation flashed in Ha Tu Dao's eyes, but she immediately shook her head. No, it's fine if I go by myself. Aren't you uncomfortable in places like this? Before she could finish, I took her hand and pulled her into the store. Let's go. Going shopping with your girlfriend is a very normal thing. Ha Tu Dao was stunned for a moment, then smiled happily. Actually, she really wanted me to go with her. Even if it was just to walk around inside. It's like how guys want their girlfriends to watch them play ball. But if I really didn't want to, she wouldn't have forced me, I muttered to myself. As soon as I stepped into the store, the system's notification sound went off. Ting, choice mission 2 completed. Received 1 permanent good man card. Ting, random quest activated. Help Ha Tu Dao choose underwear. Receive a rebate of 0 to 100 times the cost based on her satisfaction level. Before I could think it through, a row of colorful lingerie appeared before my eyes. A female sales associate approached us. Hello. Welcome. Can I help you with anything? Lingerie stores like this often hire slightly older women as sales associates because they really have an advantage in this area. When young girls come to buy lingerie for the first time, they're often shy. But when faced with a sales associate who is 28 or 29, it's easier for them to relax. I stubbornly explained, my girlfriend said her size is a little small, so I brought her here to buy one size up. Ha Tu Dao held my arm, smiling without saying a word. Sir, there's no need to be shy. The sales associate skillfully diffused the awkwardness. A thoughtful boyfriend like you is very rare. Your girlfriend is very lucky. After the natural compliment, she asked, so, do you know your girlfriend's specific size? This time, I was truly stumped. How would I know? Ha Tu Dao had never told me, and I had never measured it myself. But I really should find an opportunity to measure it carefully. After all, any responsible boyfriend should know this data. Ha Tu Dao stood on her tiptoes and whispered 34C in my ear. I blushed and relayed it to the sales associate. She said she's a 34C now, but it feels a bit tight. Although I have no concept of this size, it sounds very impressive. I glanced at Ha Tu Dao's figure again. That number definitely fits her. Hearing this, the sales associate looked Ha Tu Dao over. She was wearing a loose spaghetti strap dress. If you didn't look closely, you wouldn't notice such a beautiful figure. Your girlfriend has a wonderful figure. Please follow me this way to choose. Looking at the wall full of all kinds of lingerie, I was completely flustered. In the end, I randomly pointed at a basic pink model. Those other truly eye-catching styles, I didn't dare look at them for too long. I always felt that even one extra glance was a crime. Moreover, this store sells everything in sets. Some special styles could probably only be worn on special occasions. At my age, it's best not to look too much. The sales associate saw the set I chose, turned around to get a larger size, and said, Miss, please follow me to the fitting room. As she left, Ha Tu Dao winked playfully at me. Be good. I stood there awkwardly, feeling the gazes of the women around me, like needles on my skin. Even breathing felt uncomfortable. Fortunately, Ha Tu Dao came out quickly. She stretched, showing me the effect of the new lingerie set. That perfect curve made me immediately understand the meaning of a 95-point score. The sales associate smiled and asked, "Miss, are you satisfied with the fit?" Hatu Dao nodded in satisfaction. "It's much more comfortable." She was very happy that I chose a conservative style. It made her feel respected. Although she didn't know I was just too nervous because it was my first time. Once I get used to it, I said to the sales associate, "It'll take a few more sets of this style." This system mission was very special. As long as Hatu Dao was satisfied, the amount spent could be rebated up to 100 times, 100,000 turning into 10 million. How could I miss such a good opportunity? Still choosing this set, sir. The sales associate skillfully packed the items. To her, a big spender buying multiple items at once was very normal. Tu Dao, pick a few more sets, I said to her with a smile. Hatu Dao nodded and began choosing seriously. In the end, she chose 6 sets. Added to the 3 sets I chose, that was 9 sets in total, enough for her to wear for a while. "Sir, the total is 10 sets, 32,780. The cashier read out the amount. I asked, puzzled, "Wait, isn't it 9 sets? The list says 10 sets." The cashier handed over the list. Just as I was about to look, Hatu Dao walked over with her bag. "It is 10 sets," she whispered in my ear. I immediately smiled. I happily swiped my card to pay. The cashier and the sales associate looked at each other and smiled. They both understood the situation with the extra set. "Here is your receipt and membership card, sir." Although there was no discount, it was just what I wanted. Spending 1 yuan less could mean earning 100 yuan less. Carrying 5 or 6 bags of lingerie, as I walked out of the store, the men passing by all gave me looks of admiration. The system's notification sound rang out right on time. Ting. This purchase was 32,780 yuan. Hatu Dao's shopping satisfaction level is 97 points. Rebate multiplier is 97 times. Rebate received. 3,179,660 yuan will be transferred via the futures market, expected to arrive in the account in 3 days. Over 3 million. The rebate amount far exceeded my expectations, directly causing my assets to triple. Tu Dao. I suddenly turned and called to her. "Huh? What's wrong?" Before she could react, I kissed her. Under the watchful eyes of everyone in the mall, we shared a passionate French kiss. Hatu Dao went from resisting at first to proactively wrapping her arms around my neck. When we pulled apart, her face was as red as a ripe apple. "You don't want to. Right now, do you?" she said shyly in a low voice. I immediately remembered what she had just whispered in my ear. "I bought 10 sets. I deliberately chose a special set. Don't you want to see it? Actually, I have my aide with me." I was about to continue, but she pulled her hand back. "Just kidding." She winked mischievously. "If you want to see me wear it, you'll have to keep trying." After saying that, she skipped away, leaving me standing there, my heart itching with desire. Hatu Dao turned her head and gave me a mischievous smile. I laughed and chased after her. "How dare you tease me?" Although the system said she would love me wholeheartedly, it was clearly lying. But I am not in a hurry. If I really forced her, she wouldn't refuse. But then, what would be the fun in that? "Your milk tea is ready." The waiter put the tray down and left. I put a straw in and handed it to Hatu Dao. "Here's your taro bubble milk tea." "No taro. No milk tea." Hatu Dao blinked. "Then what about the boba?" This little vixen is getting bolder and bolder, daring to tease me in broad daylight. HMF. A deep kiss made her blush immediately. She held her milk tea and took a big sip. "Let's go to Patek Philippe later to take a look. If there's one you like, I'll buy you a watch." I just earned over 3 million. My account balance is 4.4 million. I've already made back the money for the house and car, and there's enough startup capital for the company. Hatu Dao shook her head repeatedly. "There's no need. Wearing a watch worth hundreds of thousands would just make me nervous. Besides, I don't even like these things." She had no idea that she helped me make this money. I took a sip of my milk tea and said, "Then let's go pick out some jewelry. After all, it's not like we're short on money now. You still need the right accessories to keep up appearances." I don't really like jewelry. I don't use it at school on a daily basis. Hatu Dao still wanted to refuse, but then she saw I had taken out my phone. "Then let's buy a watch. I'll call and see if they have any in stock." Last time when I bought a watch at Patek Philippe, I saved the sales manager's phone number. It's a good chance to ask if they have anything available. If not, then we won't have to make a wasted trip. As soon as I made the call, the system's notification sounded. Ting. Quest activated. Buy a wristwatch for Hatu Dao. Reward. Patek Philippe 6104 R001 watch. "Hello, Mr. Jiang." A familiar voice came from the other end of the line. It was the sales manager from last time, Truong Lo. "Our store just received a new shipment of women's watches. You can drop by to take a look when you have time. Coincidentally, we have time now. Well, head over to see them in a bit." After hanging up, I said to Hatu Dao, Let's go. Let's go take a look. If you like something, well, buy it. If not, well, just treat it as window shopping." Leaving the shopping mall, I hailed a taxi straight to the Patek Philippe store. In a place like Jiangnan, taking a taxi is really convenient. No need to worry about parking. Although having my own car would be more convenient, I really don't have time to buy one right now. I'll think about it after the National Day holiday. The Patek Philippe store was still packed with luxury cars. The people who can come here all have assets in the hundreds of millions. Luxury cars are naturally a must. As soon as we entered, Truong Lo came over to greet us. Good afternoon, Mr. Jiang. It's Truong Lo. I just spoke with you on the phone. She was wearing a business suit, with a polite smile. Hello, Manager Truong. I politely extended my hand to shake hers. We'll be interacting often in the future, so there's no need to put on airs. This must be Mr. Jiang's girlfriend, right? She's so beautiful. Truong Lo really knew how to talk. Complimenting the girlfriend who comes along can always leave a good impression on both parties. Sure enough, a smile appeared on Ha Tudao's face. I also smiled and nodded. Manager Truong, I came this time to pick a suitable watch for my girlfriend. I heard you just got a new shipment. Before I could finish, Truong Lo understood my meaning. Understood. The models I recommend are all in stock. You can take them with you after payment. High-end Patek Philippe watches need to be custom ordered, but regular models can be bought directly. The prerequisite is having a membership card. Last time, under Li Thianmin's recommendation, I already got one. Please, follow me. You too. While leading the way, Truong Lo said to the sales associate beside her, Little Li, bring out the new shipment of watches. It was the same VIP room as last time, but this time, it wasn't because of Li Thianmin's connections. I wonder what price range Mr. Jiang is looking for this time, Truong Lo asked in a soft voice. Do you two have any budget requirements? I took the teacup and said directly, thank you. It mainly depends on what my girlfriend likes, but it's best to choose something over 400,000. Ha Tudao quickly shook her head. We don't need to buy something so expensive. I don't know anything about watches. I smiled and patted her hand. It's okay. We'll buy whichever model you like. Truong Lo stood by and listened. She suddenly remembered Li Thianmin's assessment of me. He had said that I would very likely become a major client. It had only been 2 weeks, and I was already back to buy another watch. Moreover, I mentioned 400,000 right off the bat. She was secretly glad that she hadn't been indifferent to me. Just then, a server knocked and entered, carrying a wooden tray. On it were 8 models of women's watches. Patek Philippe's designs for women's watches are very unique. The watch faces have exquisite bird and flower patterns, simple yet elegant. I turned my head and asked Ha Tudao, which one do you like? Ha Tudao frowned. None of these really suit me. She hesitated to say it directly. The truth was, she didn't like these flashy colors. Truong Lo understood. She waved a sales associate over. Change them for the newest models. Half an hour later, Ha Tudao chose a pair of couples watches. A girl deeply in love cares most about symbols of love. This pair of Patek Philippe couples watches cost a total of 580,000. It exceeded the budget, but the sentimental value was even higher. Manager Truong swiped the card. I took out my bank card. Mr. Jiang, the member price is 550,000. Truong Lo operated skillfully. This small discount was a sign of her professional wisdom. The successful payment notification sounded. This pair of watches officially belongs to you too. Congratulations, sir. You have now spent a total of 1 million, and your membership level has been upgraded. You can now pre-order million-level watches. Patek Philippe's membership system is very strict. Although my actual spending hadn't reached 1 million, the total market value of the 3 watches had surpassed it. That's how I qualified for the upgrade. I was immersed in the system's notification sound. Ting. Congratulations to the host for completing the mission. Buy a wristwatch for Ha Tudao. Reward Patek Philippe 6,000. 104 R001 has been sent. Expected to be delivered in 2 weeks. The system sounded another notification. Experience points have exceeded 1 million. System level upgraded to LV3. The money blessing has been upgraded to 40 yuan per minute. Roughly calculating, my daily salary is now 57,000. Monthly salary is 1.71 million. Annual salary is 20.52 million, and it's all tax-free. This income is equivalent to that of a small company. At this moment, Truong Lo's phone rang. Excuse me, Mr. Jiang. I need to take this call. She looked at the caller ID. I nodded. Go ahead. Hello, President Li. What? You're already at the door. I'll be right there. Truong Lo hung up. Mr. Jiang, President Li is here. I have to go greet him. I reacted immediately. Again, it's Li Thianmin. Uncle Li. Then let's go together. As juniors, it would be impolite to remain seated knowing an elder has arrived. Truong Lo led the way. Yes, please come this way. Ha Tudao naturally followed behind. The 3 of us had just stepped out the door when we saw Li Thianmin getting out of a Rolls-Royce. Seeing me and Ha Tudao, Li Thianmin was clearly stunned for a moment. He obviously didn't expect to see me here, but he quickly adjusted his expression. He walked over with a smile. Little Jiang, little Ha. We meet again. Li Thianmin had a very deep impression of these 2 juniors who were on good terms with his own children, especially me. The person who could make Li Hu Dong want to start a company in his freshman year. Ha Tudao and I greeted him at the same time. Hello, Uncle Lee. Lee Thien Min noticed the couple's watches on our wrists. A glint appeared in his eyes, and his interest in me grew even stronger. In the VIP room, Lee Thien Min got straight to the point. I heard you want to start a company. I admitted it calmly. Yes. Anyway, I can't hide it from this old hand in the business world. My own capital is limited for me to operate alone, so I want to establish a professional team. After I train them, the team can manage a capital of hundreds of millions, with an annual profit of at least 10%. Xiao Dong felt the scale was too small, so he suggested opening a company directly. That way, we can also attract outside capital. I chose to be honest. Instead of turning on each other later, it's better to be upfront now. After hearing my explanation, Lee Thien Min nodded. The situation was pretty much as he knew it, but he had one question. How could I guarantee that they could achieve a high profit margin after training? But he didn't ask it out loud. Everyone has their own secrets. This idea is very good. Whether it succeeds or not, at least you've taken the first step. Lee Thien Min said seriously, if possible, I hope you can guide Xiao Dong. It's best to give him some shares, he added. The shares won't be for free. It's mainly so Xiao Dong will take it seriously. Consider it a form of training. I understood what he meant. He was treating the company as a whetstone for Lee Hiu Dong to sharpen himself. I spoke truthfully. Shares are not a problem. I was already planning to give Brother Dong some. Lee Hiu Dong has put in the effort. Giving him 10% to 20% of the shares is the right thing to do. But Lee Thien Min clearly felt this percentage wasn't enough. Even real brothers need to keep accounts clear. No matter how good the relationship, things must be calculated clearly. Lee Thien Min shook his head and said, how about this? Transfer 30% of the shares in return, and Il put in 30 million in client capital. This offer was very tempting. The most difficult thing for a securities firm is not having client capital in the early stages. I had originally planned to rely on my own capital for the first half year. Now with this 30 million, the initial capital problem is solved. But I smiled and waved my hand. Uncle Lee, you're being too formal. Even if you hadn't mentioned it, I would have given Brother Dong 10% of the shares. As for the initial capital, we want to handle it ourselves. That way, we can truly experience the startup process. On the surface, my words were a rejection of his help, but in reality, I was rejecting his price. A company with a system backing it. 30 million for 30% of the shares could be considered. But to trade client capital for shares, isn't that a joke? Lee Thien Min, this old fox, naturally understood the deeper meaning. It was just that my refusal surprised him a little. Little Jiang. Then how do you think I should support you appropriately? How about this? Uncle Lee, I've already made preparations. You can invest as a client first. Give me 2 months. We'll talk in detail in 2 months. Talking about the price now is meaningless. It's better to wait until I've made some money on the stock market. With the stock market trend card in my hand, I would definitely astonish him then. Lee Thien Min sized me up. All right, I'll give you 2 months. I'll help with setting up the company. After it's done, I'll invest 50 million in client capital, he said with a serious face. But if the profit isn't 2% in 2 months, you'll have to give up 30% of the shares. This condition is equivalent to a 12% annual profit rate. For an ordinary person, it's very difficult. But for me, it was as easy as flipping my hand. I quickly did some calculations. I already had a plan in mind. Lee Thien Min, this old fox, is really shrewd when it comes to business. If I make more than a 2% profit in 2 months, he will earn 1 million. This profit rate is already very high. If I don't achieve it, I'll have to give up 30% of the shares. I agree, but on one condition. Your investment will be paid back with an 8% annual interest rate. An 8% annual interest rate is quite a bit higher than the bank's. It's close to the inflation rate. It's the standard return for a securities firm. Lee Thien Min readily nodded. When do we sign the contract? I asked him with a smile. On the surface, Lee Thien Min had the advantage, but I had the stock market trend card in my hand. Doubling this 50 million wouldn't be a problem. In the end, I would only need to give him 4 million. The rest would all be mine. No need to sign a contract. Let's just consider it our gentleman's agreement. Just don't let Xiao Dong know. Well, sign the investment agreement after the company is established. Lee Thien Min didn't seem to care about this amount of money. The company would be full of his people. It would be difficult for me to run away with the money, but I believe the system won't let me suffer a loss. Thank you for your support, Uncle Lee. I smiled and poured him a cup of tea. Lee Thien Min sighed. In the end, it's because you're outstanding enough. He lowered his voice and added, I hope this experience can help Xiao Dong mature. He had nurtured Lee Hiu Dong for over 10 years, and it still couldn't compare to me. Although he knew my background wasn't simple, this sense of disparity still made him uncomfortable. Don't worry, Uncle Lee. Before graduating from university, I will definitely help Brother Dong reach the level you desire. We were clearly from the same generation, but my words were as mature as an elder's. Yet Lee Thien Min didn't feel anything was wrong. All right, I'll remember that. Although it was just a verbal promise, Lee Thien Min still smiled and agreed. After leaving Patek Philippe, Ha Tu Dao and I walked hand in hand. Tu Dao, is there anywhere else you want to go? It was just past 5 p.m. It's too early for dinner, but a bit late to go out. I don't know. Ha, Tu Dao smiled sweetly. I am happy just walking around with you. The deprivation in her original family made her especially cherish moments together like this. Then ill? Asked Brother Dong. If there are any fun places in Jiangdanish. The first call went unanswered. The second one connected. A fierce argument could be heard from the other end of the line. What did you say? Just eat your food. Why are you being a hooligan? Come here, like I am scared of you guys. Liu Vu's voice was particularly jarring. Finally, Li Hu Dong's voice came through. Brother Jiang. I frowned and asked, what's going on? Are you about to fight? Li Hu Dong said angrily. Don't even mention it. We ran into a couple of jerks at the cafeteria. They were eating Sichuan food, complained it was too spicy, and insisted on returning it. Tong and HK refused to give a refund. The two sides started arguing right there. Old Liu, old Ka, and I heard the commotion as soon as we entered the cafeteria. Li Hu Dong quickly recounted the incident to me. Wait in the cafeteria. Don't start anything. I am on my way back. Hanging up, I looked at Hatu Dao. Let's go back to school first. We can go shopping another day. We immediately took a taxi back to school. Luckily, there was no traffic, and we reached the school gate in half an hour. Tu Dao, you go back to the dorm first. I was in a hurry to leave. I want to go with you. Hatu Dao held on to me and wouldn't let go. If you come, he'll have to worry about taking care of you. My voice was firm. Don't worry. I promise, I won't get physical. Hatu Dao finally nodded. Then be careful. Remember to call me. After saying that, she took 3 steps and looked back once. I ran towards the cafeteria while calling Li Hu Dong. Still no answer. The cafeteria was packed with students watching the commotion, but they all kept a safe distance. There was an empty space around Li Hu Dong and the others. They were arguing until they were red in the face, but no one had thrown a punch. Brother Dong, what's the situation now? I walked over quickly. Li Hu Dong and the others turned their heads at the same time. Brother Jiang is here. Ka Chan and Liu Vu also looked at me. Their expressions were complicated. No one said a word. I glanced at the people opposite them. Several plates on the table were overturned. The floor was a mess, with 2 broken plates as well. It was a total mess. Next to Liu Vu was Tong Nha Kai. She looked a bit dazed. Brat, who are you cursing at? A male student from the opposite side pointed at Li Hu Dong and started yelling. Shut up. I snapped coldly. My height of over 1.8 meters was quite intimidating. The other guy immediately fell silent. Can't even have a meal in peace. If Sichuan food isn't spicy, can you even call it Sichuan food? I turned my head and asked Li Hu Dong, is everyone okay? Li Hu Dong shook his head. He pointed at Tong Nha Kai. She got pushed. Tong Nha Kai quickly said, I am fine. You guys go first. I need to clean up a bit, or the boss will scold me when he sees this. She didn't want to make a big deal out of it, especially after I arrived. I said to the other guys, compensate, then apologize. Why is the food so spicy? Don't you know? I can't eat spicy food. 4 dark-skinned freshmen. You could tell they were from the same dorm. If they were easy to talk to, they wouldn't have said things like, why is Sichuan food so spicy? My monthly living expense is 2,000. Can you afford to compensate me? Not going to apologize. Are you? I frowned and stepped forward. The 3 of them, Li Hu Dong and the others, immediately followed. It was strange. As soon as I appeared, the 3 of them suddenly gained courage. Just a moment ago, they were hesitant, but now they dared to charge forward with me. What do you want? Want to fight? Come on. Come on. You just try and touch me. The guys opposite us instinctively stepped back, then felt they had lost face. The leader stubbornly said harsh words. Who wants to fight? I couldn't help but laugh. We're all university students now. Stop acting like primary schoolers. Isn't this embarrassing? Looking around, the crowd of onlookers was growing. I lowered my voice and said, with so many people watching, do you think this makes you look cool? Or do you want your names to appear on the school's notice board tomorrow? My voice was calm, but it carried an undeniable sense of pressure. Of course, you can also choose not to apologize, but whether you can continue studying at Jiangnan University, that's hard to say. I smiled meaningfully. The 3 people opposite us immediately panicked. Except for the leader, Quach Ui, the others were all scared. They had only come to eat, not expecting to get involved in this. Now they couldn't leave even if they wanted to. Quach Ui, how about we just apologize? It's just about a few plates of food. We just won't come to this cafeteria anymore. Let's not blow this up. His 3 roommates advised him in low voices. Their eyes kept darting towards me. Those 2 guys who spread rumors about Hatu Dao last time are still infamous online. They didn't want to make the same mistake. Hua Shuai's group was clearly scared. I had suppressed them with just a few sentences. A male student walked up, bowed his head, and apologized to Tong Nha Kwai. Sorry. After saying that, he turned and left. He didn't even glance at Hua Shuai. The other 2 also hurried to apologize. One of them even took out 200 yuan and pushed it into Tong Nha K's hand. Then he scurried away. In less than 2 minutes, of the 4 arrogant guys from before, only Hua Shuai remained. Still being stubborn. Suddenly, an angry roar echoed. What are you all doing? A middle-aged man with a beer belly walked over. His suit looked like it was about to burst. Tong Nakai's face immediately turned pale. She whispered to us that he was the boss. You guys should go, but it was too late. That boss reeked of alcohol. He pointed at Tong Nhky and cursed. Tong Nhky, I pay you a salary. Is it so you can come here and cause trouble? If you can do the job, do it. If you can't, then get lost. His scolding grew harsher. His spit was about to fly into Tong Nhk's face. Tong Nhky lowered her head, not daring to speak. Liu Vu couldn't stand it anymore. Clenching his fists, it looked like he was about to rush forward. Hey, what kind of way is that to talk? Liu Vu suddenly interrupted. It was clearly them who started it. Why are you taking your anger out on Tong Nhky? Seeing the situation, I knew things were about to go south. As expected, the beer-bellied boss immediately shifted his target. Who the hell are you? I am the one who pays Tong Nhk's salary. So, what if I scold her? Do you know how much this has cost me? He pointed at Liu Vu's nose and yelled. Look at the time. It's dinner time. You've scared all the customers away. Can you afford to pay for this loss? Liu Vu puffed out his chest. I'll pay for it. How much is it? I took a stack of cash from my wallet. About 6,000 or 7,000. The boss sneered. You'll pay? Don't act tough with the living expenses your parents give you. My daily revenue is in the tens of thousands. This delay just cost me several thousand yuan. With just your measly living expenses. These words left Liu Vu speechless. It was true. By the end of the month, his pockets were cleaner than his face. He could only stand there, blushing. If you don't have money, what are you pretending for? Scram back to your dorm. The boss turned around to scold Tong Nhky again. I sighed. Reality is just that cruel. It was only then that I noticed that Kid Kwashiwai had slipped away long ago. Dongzi. Did you bring cash? I asked Li Heiyu Dong. He had a habit of using cash. He said paying with a phone didn't feel like spending money. Let's go. Let's go. Drink somewhere else. I patted his shoulder. Li Heiyu Dong didn't say anything, just nodded. There was no point in escalating this matter. Being scolded in front of the girl he likes. How could he bear it? I patted the fat boss' shoulder. The fat boss turned around abruptly. What? That's enough, I said with a frown. Scolding a young girl after having a few drinks? It'll cover the losses. Let's drop this. I stuffed the money into his pocket. The fat boss was about to lose his temper, but he felt the thickness of the cash. His expression immediately softened. I'll give you face. He turned his head and yelled at Tong Nhky. Hurry up and clean this mess. When he turned back, the four of us were already gone. After leaving the cafeteria, I called Hatu Dao and briefly explained the situation. I told her and the others to eat first, that I was going for a drink with Liu Vu and the guys. Hatu Dao was very understanding and didn't ask many questions. She just told me to drink less. I hung up. It's not that I didn't want to take her with me. It's just that this situation wasn't suitable. There would be plenty of opportunities later. Brother Jiang, Liu Vu suddenly spoke, his voice hoarse. Am I completely useless? Useless? I gave a half smile. That boss only graduated from a technical college. 1. He earns 300,000 a month, and I don't even have 5,000. He laughed bitterly. Do you know how much he pays Tong Nhky? 10 yuan an hour. And she's a student at Jiangnan University. I looked at him. 10 yuan an hour. You think that's low? But that's the market rate for a restaurant server. I turned my head and asked, Liu Dong, Brother Dong, when your dad's company hires graduates from Jiangnan University, how much do they pay per month? Fresh graduates get 5,000 or 6,000. After a full year, they can basically all get promoted. After promotion, the monthly salary is about 10,000. If they perform well and become a manager, with the year-end bonus, they can make an average of 30,000 a month. Did you hear that? That's the standard salary for a Jiangnan University graduate. I stopped abruptly mid-sentence. I turned my head to look at Li Heiyu Dong. Damn. Your family's salaries are so high. Rather go work for you. Seeing the atmosphere was too heavy, I made a joke. Everyone knows a big shot like me. Will definitely start my own business after graduation. How could I work for someone else? What's a 30,000 monthly salary? It's no problem for me to make 1 million a month. Li Heiyu Dong gave me a helpless look and said nothing. I didn't mind. I smiled and turned to Liu Vu. Do you get it now? That's a normal salary. You see a 10 yuan hourly wage as an insult because the work you're doing is only worth that much. Go to a restaurant and ask for 100 an hour. See who gives it to you. You look down on a technical college graduate, but his 300,000 monthly income comes from decades of hard work. Going to university only proves you have a high starting point, but the starting point isn't the finish line. At this point, I became serious. Liu Vu's mentality was a problem. If he didn't fix it, he would suffer later. Of course, for someone like Brother Dong, his starting point is someone else's finish line. That's another story. In the end, I used Li Heiyu Dong as an example again. Li Heiyu Dong looked at me resentfully. Brother Jiang, that's not a nice thing to say. Your starting point is even higher than mine. That reminded me of Li Thayan Min, the father who was willing to spend 50 million for his son's trial and error, and he let Li Heiyu Dong get a great deal. All right, Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's go drink. I put my arms around Li Hyo Dong and Liu Vu's shoulders and walked off campus. My height was just right. Kei Chan, who had been quiet, also spoke up. That's right. Let's go drink. There's no problem between men that a round of drinks can't solve. 20 minutes later, the four of us arrived at the food street behind the school. We found a newly opened barbecue stall. This Ka-chan guy ordered 2 cases of beer right away, and 200 barbecue skewers. The most shocking thing was that he even ordered several kidneys. After they were grilled, he insisted we try them. Come on, try it. It's very nourishing. Ka-chan pushed a skewer into each of our hands. I glanced at the minced kidney on the skewer. I really couldn't swallow it. Boss, add more chili powder. I took the skewer to the owner. The boss understood and brushed a thick layer of chili powder on it. Ting. Choice mission activated. Choice 1, eat the grilled kidney. Reward, golden spear never falls skill. Permanently enhances stamina. Choice 2, do not eat. Reward, 100,000 limit culinary cashback card. I stared at the skewer in my hand, lost in thought. The cashback card could earn me 1 million at most, but compared to a permanent skill, what was 1 million? I took a crunchy bite. The taste of the kidney was surprisingly not bad. Ting. Acquired golden spear never falls skill. I immediately felt a warmth in my lower abdomen, and my whole body was filled with power. I finished the whole skewer in just a few bites. Li Hyo Dong and Liu Vu both stared in astonishment. Brother Jiang, you really ate it? I shrugged. Brother Dong, you should try it too. It's very nourishing. The effect is excellent. This was a system reward. After all, how could the effect not be good? Li Hyo Dong took a bite, half believing, half doubting. As a result, he spit it out after just 2 chews. Never mind. Never mind. He couldn't get over that mental barrier. But it was enough that he took 1 bite. With a few skewers of grilled kidney in our stomachs, the gloomy atmosphere from before was swept away. Even Liu Vu seemed more relaxed. This guy even got addicted to it. The remaining kidneys were basically finished off by him and Ka-chan, eating skewers, drinking, and shooting the breeze. This was the nightlife that men should have. While we were happily drinking, Liu Vu's phone suddenly rang. After he answered the phone, he instantly sobered up. He stammered for a long time before hanging up. Who was that? So mysterious. Li Hyo Dong asked while eating. Who else could it be? It must be Secretary Tong. Ka-chan laughed and ordered more kidney skewers. Don't order anymore. It won't be good if NHAKY sees this. I could clearly see Liu Vu's face turn bright red. This was probably the embarrassment of being caught by your crush while eating kidneys. I asked curiously, why is Tong NHAKY coming? She said she wants to come and thank you guys. I almost burst out laughing. If they hadn't interfered today, it probably wouldn't have gotten so out of hand. But I couldn't say that out loud. It would be too discouraging. More than 10 minutes later, Liu Vu suddenly sat up straight and nudged Ka-chan. Stop eating, she's here. Ka-chan was eating with relish. Without looking up, he replied, so she's here. So what? It's not like I like her. Are you really not going to eat the last skewer? He said, as he held the kidney skewer in front of Liu Vu. No, I am not eating it. You finish it yourself. Liu Vu pushed Ka-chan's approaching hand away. He stood up to greet the approaching Tong NHAKY. I looked up. I noticed that next to Tong NHAKY was a girl in denim shorts. As she got closer, I used my data eye to look. This girl's beauty score was actually 85 points. You should know that a score above 80 is a 1 in 1,000 beauty. She was fully qualified to be the class belle. Liu Vu took the initiative to step forward. NHAKY, classmate Solin HNHI. They clearly knew this girl. I wondered when they had gotten to know such a beautiful girl. Behind my back, Liu Vu had no reaction to Solin NHI, but when he looked at Tong NHAKY, a shy expression appeared on his face. Indeed, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I smiled and greeted them. Hello, Secretary. Tong NHAKY replied politely. Hello, classmate Jiang. Boss, 2 more chairs. As soon as I called out, Liu Vu cut in. I'll go get them. He quickly brought over 2 plastic chairs. He placed them between the 2 of us. After Tong NHAKY thanked him, she pulled Solin NHI to sit down. It was only then that I understood why. I hadn't noticed this beauty before. She kept her head down. Her long bangs covered those peach blossom eyes. I couldn't see her face clearly at all. Is our great secretary done with her work? Li Hyo Dong asked after taking a sip of beer. Yes, it's 8 o'clock now. The cafeteria has been closed for a long time. That's right. The school cafeteria is only busy for a short while each day. By my calculations, she probably only earns 60 yuan a day. After that was said, everyone fell silent. The atmosphere suddenly became a bit awkward. Only Ka-chan was still engrossed in gnawing on the kidney, eating with gusto. I spoke up to break the silence. We didn't know you were coming, so we only ordered beer. What would you like to drink? I'll go get it. No need. Well, drink beer too. Lin NHI. Can you drink? Yes. So Lin NHI replied softly, still with her head down. That soft voice stunned me for a moment. When I looked up, I happened to meet her gaze, but the next second, she shyly lowered her head again. Tong Nha Kai suddenly said, Jiang then. You don't know yet, do you? During this time, all the dishes you ate were made by Lin Nha. Speaking of which, this is the first time you've all officially met. I looked at So Lin Nha in surprise, not expecting this shy girl to be such a good cook. Lin Nha made, the food is really delicious, not at all inferior to a professional chef. So Lin Nha waved her hands in a fluster. No, my cooking is just average. Not as good as my mother-in-law's. Her voice grew quieter and quieter. Besides, if it wasn't the dish I made, this wouldn't have happened today. Tong Nhahy immediately retorted. How can you be blamed for that? They clearly can't handle spicy food, but still insisted on ordering a Sichuan dish. Seeing So Lin Nhi lower her head again, Tong Nhky helplessly raised her glass. Jiang then. Li Hu Dong, Ka Chen, Li Vu, this glass is for you all. Thank you for speaking up for me today. So Lin Nhi also quietly raised her glass, but still kept her head down. Liu Vu quickly explained, don't be so formal. Anyone would have helped in that situation. We just happened to be there. Li Hu Dong laughed and cut him off. Old Liu, that's not what you were saying just now, he said, while giving Liu Vu a meaningful look. When you saw Tong Nhaky being scolded, your eyes turned all red. You were about to charge up and fight him. Liu Vu became even more flustered hearing these words. Tong Nhky glanced at him and then said with a smile, in any case, you helped me. So I should thank you. We're all classmates. Helping each other is normal. Seeing Liu Vu was too shy to speak, I picked up the beer bottle and first clinked glasses with Tong Nhaky and So Lin Nhi. Seeing me take the lead, the others also clinked glasses with them one by one. Tong Nhky shook her head, no longer dwelling on the matter. Let's put this behind us. Tonight, we're not going home until we're drunk. Let's forget everything. I raised my beer bottle again and clinked it with everyone. Come on. Li Hu Dong and the others didn't refuse. Neither did Tong Nhaky and So Lin Nhi. But I noticed that So Lin Nhi seemed to have an alcohol allergy. Her face turned red after just one glass. So Lin's skin was very fair, especially her slender legs under the shorts. They were so white you could even see the blood vessels. I don't know how she stayed so fair after military training. After a few glasses of beer, a faint pink blush appeared on her cheeks. It was as if she had put on blush. Oh right. After 2 drinks, Tong Nhaky wanted to find a topic. The freshman welcome party next week. The head teacher probably won't be coming. We need to lead the classmates to find a venue. Li Hu Dong and I looked at each other. Neither of us wanted to deal with this. You guys can handle it. Idle committee members like us just need to relax and get our credits. We weren't looking for trouble for ourselves. Seeing us being so lazy, Tong Nhaky wanted to say something but held back. I called the boss and ordered some more barbecue. The 6 of us drank and ate. Tong Nhaky had an extroverted personality. After 1 round of drinks, she became close with us. Only So Lin Nhi sat there quietly, not eating anything. She only raised her glass when we toasted. I originally wanted to ask So Lin Nhi why she wasn't eating anything, but in the end, I didn't. It was past 9 o'clock. We helped each other pay the bill and left. Liu Vu was dead drunk. In order to show off in front of Tong Nhaky, he drank every last drop with each toast. Looking at him like that, I could only sigh at how young people care so much about face. Adults know when to stop. Being drunk not only messes things up but also feels terrible. I've always known my limits. But today was very strange. I drank so much but wasn't drunk at all. I just went to the bathroom a few more times. Could it be the golden spear never falls skill? Did it also come with an enhancement to my alcohol tolerance? If so, that was truly an unexpected gain. The next few days were calm and peaceful. The school's freshman welcome party was scheduled for Saturday. After the party was the long National Day holiday. It was like a pre-holiday celebration. Most of the performers were upperclassmen. It's worth mentioning that Li Hu Dong managed to charm a senior who was performing. He's been acting all mysterious these past few days, giggling foolishly every night. He wouldn't say anything when I asked, so I eventually stopped asking. Besides going to class, I also downloaded a stock market app to take notes. The stock market trend card in my hand was the key to earning my first pot of gold. I had to use it cautiously. Now was not the right time to enter the market. I have to wait until all the capital is in place before I can make a move. After a week of accumulation, the cash I have on hand has returned to 4.3 million. After I get home, I plan to first use the 90% off housing purchase voucher to buy a large storefront, then use the storefront as collateral for a loan. That way, I can get another 10 million in capital. The 3 million car and the 3 million watch are arriving soon. I am also preparing to mortgage them. That way, my capital can reach 20 million. Plus the money from Hatu Dao and the Li Hu Dong siblings. That's another almost 4 million. But all of this is just a stepping stone. What I am really looking forward to is the 50 million in client funds that Li Tianming promised. I only need to pay 1 million in interest for using it for 2 months. This deal is definitely profitable. with no chance of loss. By then, with 75 million in capital, as long as I pick the right stocks, making 100 million in a month won't be a problem. Saturday night, I took Hatu Dao and the others to eat at the cafeteria. This time, the National Day and Mid-Autumn Festival are back-to-back, so the school has a 10-day break. Hatu Dao couldn't bear to be apart. She kept linking her arm with mine during the meal, making the Lai Hiu Dong siblings roll their eyes. As I fed Hatu Dao an egg, I asked, "Brother Dong, how are the company preparations going?" "The basic personnel have been selected. We've been discussing compensation these past few days." After they found out my identity, the discussions went very smoothly. "I'll push a little harder during the National Day holiday. I'll try to get it all sorted out after the holiday." Lai Hiu Dong had a smug look on his face, as if recruiting people was some great achievement. In reality, it was all Li Tianming helping behind the scenes. Otherwise, who would give up a listed company to join his small, new startup? But I didn't expose him. I didn't want to damage his confidence. "Oh, right. Brother Jiang, when there's a chance, I'll introduce you to a few close friends," Li Hiu Dong said while eating his noodles. "What friends? They're all second-generation rich kids. Their families have money and influence. Not like poor me. They all have money in their hands. More friends means more opportunities." I listened to Li Hiu Dong talk while eating my noodles, calculating in my head. Although Li Tianming isn't a top tycoon in Jiangcheng, he's still a significant figure. He has connections everywhere. If the family backgrounds of these friends of his are similar, then they are indeed worth getting to know. I now consider Jiangcheng as my home base. Jingsheng is too far, and the waters there run deep. For someone like me with no background, it's more prudent to develop in Jiangcheng first. Later, when I have capital, it won't be too late to venture into Jingcheng. "Are those friends of yours reliable?" I confirmed one more time. Li Hiu Dong thumped his chest, guaranteeing they were completely reliable. "They're all brothers I've known since childhood. They didn't look down on me when I was down on my luck. When they heard you wanted to start a company, they were all very interested," he added in a lowered voice. "Besides, this group all has idle cash on hand. If you're confident, Brother Jiang, I can persuade them to entrust their money to the company for management. That way, our startup capital will be secured." Hearing him say that, I was touched. Li Hiu Dong has helped me so much, and he has never asked for anything in return. I have committed this friendship to heart. Li Hiu Dong suddenly changed the subject. "Oh right, Brother Jiang, aren't you taking Campus Bell home to meet your parents during the National Day holiday?" I turned my head to look at Hatu Dao, and found her face was as red as an apple. Hatu Dao's voice trembled. "It's too soon, although she likes me a lot. Meeting the parents after less than a month of dating is indeed a bit fast." Looking at her shy appearance, I couldn't help but smile. "Then let's do it during the winter break. Come home with me then." As I spoke, I gently stroked her head. Hatu Dao said softly, "Brother Jiang, thank you." Hatu Dao saw that I respected her choice. A sweet smile appeared on her face. During this time, our feelings developed very quickly, and she started calling me intimately, "Brother Jiang. Why are you talking about these things?" Li Wanwan looked at our sweet display and complained sourly. Li Hiu Dong helplessly spread his hands. "I was just kidding. Who knew they'd take it seriously? These two are really always showing off their affection. All right, let's eat. After we eat, well, go watch the freshman welcome party together." I quickly changed the subject. Li Hiu Dong suddenly said excitedly, "It's perfect timing. I need to go give flowers to my goddess." A sleazy smile appeared on his face. I sighed internally, as expected of Brother Dong. Giving flowers right after meeting someone, he acts fast. Li Wanwan suddenly flared up. "Li Hiu Dong, you've never given flowers to me or Mom, and now you want to give them to a strange woman." She reached out to snatch the bank card from Li Hiu Dong's pocket. "Give back the money I saved for you." Li Hiu Dong hurriedly dodged. "Don't snatch it. I bought some for you too. This money is to help Brother Jiang with his work," I said helplessly. "Give her back the money. I'll give you another sum." Li Hiu Dong held onto the bank card firmly. "How can it be the same? I can still tell the difference between 500,000 and 1 million. Li Wanwan was half doubting. "You really bought them for me?" Li Hiu Dong swore. "It's truer than pearls. You'll know when the flowers are delivered later." Only then did Li Wanwan stop. "If you lie to me, you know the consequences." Li Wanwan glared at Li Hiu Dong. She continued eating with her head down. Li Hiu Dong was fidgeting. He wanted to take out his phone but didn't dare, just like a child who had done something wrong. I saw through his thoughts and offered a way out. "Brother Dong, come to the restroom with me." Li Hiu Dong looked as if he had been granted amnesty. He immediately stood up. "Let's go, let's go, let's go." I told Hatu Dao something. I told her to eat with Li Wanwan first. Actually, everyone understood. Li Hiu Dong wanted to go give flowers to his goddess. Although Li Wanwan was angry, she didn't really want the money back. As long as Li Hiu Dong didn't give the flowers, this matter could be dropped. In the restroom, Li Hiu Dong hurriedly made a call. "Hello, I am Li Hiu Dong who ordered flowers this afternoon." "What? The delivery person has already arrived." He hung up the phone with a mournful expression. I held back a laugh and asked, "What's wrong? Is there a problem with Wan Wan's flowers?" Li Hudong said frantically. "I didn't order any flowers for her in the first place." I gloated over his misfortune. "Then you won't be able to keep your bank card." "Brother Jiang, do you think if I take one rose from the bouquet for the senior to give to Wan Wan, will she forgive me?" "Depends on how many you're giving the senior." "Only 99 roses." Li Hudong's voice got quieter and quieter. I gave him a thumbs up. "Brilliant. Giving the senior 99 roses, and your sister one. You're a real biological brother." Li Hudong didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Then you might as well just give the bank card to Wan Wan." Li Hudong was so anxious he wrung his hands. "Don't. Brother Jiang, help me think of something. I really don't want to lose that 1 million. I crossed my legs and said leisurely, "Actually, it's not like there's no way." "What way? Tell me. Quick." Li Hudong's eyes lit up. "How about this? Give 1 rose to Wan Wan and 1 to the senior. Give the rest to Ha Tu Dao." I looked at him with a sly grin. After all, you can't split 1 bouquet to give to 2 people. Get lost. Just as Li Hudong was about to refuse, I immediately twisted the knife. "Think carefully. Otherwise, I'll go tell Wan Wan the truth right now." At the mention of Wan Wan, Li Hudong immediately deflated. Fine. But you have to pay me back for the flowers. They're 10 yuan a stem." "Damn." I laughed and cursed. "You're even stingier than I am." When we got to the school gate, I was holding a large bouquet of roses. My whole body was almost swallowed by the flowers. Poor Li Hudong held 2 single stems, looking just like a lackey. Ha Tu Dao smiled sweetly when she received the flowers. This was the first time I had given her flowers. Li Wan Wan, on the other hand, wasn't angry. She smugly waved the rose in her hand, raising an eyebrow at Li Hudong. By the time they took the flowers back to the dorm, it was already dark. Li Hudong was still muttering there. "My 1 million bonus." I patted his shoulder. "Be content. It's good enough that you didn't crash and burn." 7:30 p.m. The freshman welcome party started on time. I took Ha Tu Dao and the others to the school auditorium. Jiangcheng University is a key university. The standard of the freshman welcome party is very high. The large auditorium can hold over 2,000 people. It's often used to host talks by famous people. To get a good spot, many classes gathered early to save seats. Our class president, Song Ye-chi, had also urged us in the group chat, but we were eating at that time. By the time we arrived, it was already late. We could only find a slightly obscure spot to sit down. "Brother Jiang, what should I do?" Li Hudong held the lonely rose, with a wry smile on his face. I blurted out, "Go give it to her. Being single-minded is a good thing." But I told the senior, I was a rich second-generation kid. That's why she agreed to give me a chance. Isn't this a bit too shabby now? I frowned. She agreed to you just for that? Although I don't object to girls being practical, but for Li Hudong, it's a bit. It's not that I really like her. I'm just not resigned to it. Li Hudong scratched his head. It seems that after being rejected, his rich kid temper flared up. I patted his shoulder. Getting rejected is no big deal. But, I pointed to the rose in his hand. Go give it a try. See how she reacts. You get it. Li Hudong looked at the flower in his hand. He seemed to have figured something out. Just then, my phone rang. It was Song Ye-chi calling. "Hello? Party secretary. What's wrong?" The other end of the line was very noisy. Song Ye-chi was also in the auditorium. "Jiang then. Where are you? Come quick. There's a fight." Because it was too noisy, I only caught a few words. But it was enough to make me frown. "Brother Jiang, what's wrong?" Li Hudong asked. "It seems like Song Ye-chi's group is arguing." I looked around. In the large auditorium with 2,000 people, I couldn't find the point of conflict at first. Over there, Li Hudong suddenly pointed towards the central area. There was indeed a group of people gathered there. It looked like they were arguing. "Let's go check it out." We walked along the aisle. Even though we've only been with our classmates for a month, we can't just stand by and do nothing. After getting closer, we realized the situation was more serious than imagined. The two groups were arguing heatedly, red in the face, almost, coming to blows. The people from our class were standing in front of their seats. Opposite them was a group of unfamiliar freshmen. Song Ye-chi was leading Liu Yu and the others in a debate. "We were clearly here first. On what grounds are you making us give up our seats? If you can't find a spot, you just steal one? How ridiculous." The voices of Song Ye-chi and Liu Yu kept coming over. I walked down the steps. Liu Yu and the others saw me and immediately shouted, "Brother Jiang is here." Song Ye-chi clearly let out a sigh of relief and nodded at me. "I am here," I replied, frowning at the group opposite us. "What's going on?" Song Ye-chi explained helplessly. "We came to save these seats early on. They keep insisting these are their reserved seats and are making us give them up. There aren't any other seats left." I looked around. The party is about to start. The good seats have almost all been taken. The spot that Song Ye-chi and the others chose was indeed not bad. No wonder someone came to fight for it. I asked the other side directly, "Did you reserve these seats?" A male student with bangs covering his eyebrows from the opposite side stepped forward. "Who are you?" "Yes. We reserve them. You better give them up. Otherwise, when the student union people get here, things won't be so simple anymore. The two sides immediately started bickering. You say something. I say something. It was chaotic and noisy. Everyone. Shut up. I raised my voice. Who's your class president? Come out and talk. The guy with the bang stepped out again. I am. You're not their class president. Are you? Where's Zhou Yang? Where did that guy run off to? From his tone, he seemed quite close to Zhou Yang. I was also wondering where Zhou Yang had run off to. Songya. She said helplessly. I can't get in touch with him. He didn't answer his phone this afternoon. And now it's turned off. Even teacher La's phone can't get through. She also didn't want to bother me. But this group of people suddenly came to cause trouble. Even though there were so many male classmates around, the first person she thought of was still me. I was speechless. Can't contact the class president. Missing in action at a crucial moment. This is too unreliable. I waved my hand. Forget it. Don't look for Zhu Yang anymore. I turned and said to the other group, fellow students, the party hasn't started yet. You should go find seats. Let's not mention this whole reservation thing anymore. This is a school, not a hotel. I am in a hurry to get back to Hatu Dao. These freshman welcome parties have always had open seating. There's no rule about reserving seats in advance. The class president from the other side sneered contemptuously. Who the hell are you? Can you represent your class? Any stray cat or dog dares to come out and bark. I was stunned for a moment. Ever since the incidents on the school forum, this was the first time someone had looked down on me like this. Usually, people would point at me when I walk on campus. This guy doesn't know me. Of course Jiang then can represent our class. Before I could say anything, Liu, Yu, and the others had stepped forward. We trust Brother Jiang. Brother Jiang is also a class officer. Hearing the voices of support behind me, I was a bit dazed. This sudden class unity was what was going on. But I didn't have time to think about these things now anymore. Did you hear me? If you want to watch the party, go find a seat. I shouted at the group in front of me. The other party was clearly here to cause trouble. I didn't want to start anything originally, but trouble came knocking, so I can only see it through. So you're Jiang then? The other guy looked me up and down and suddenly asked, you're the one who stole Hatu Dao. Only then did I understand. Turns out he's a pursuer of Hatu Dao. With Hatu Dao's looks, it's very normal for her to have pursuers at Jiangcheng University. I just didn't expect to meet one this way. I really don't get what's so good about you that Hatu Dao would like you. The other guy muttered to himself. I cut him off. Cut the crap. Our class got to this spot first. Take your people and leave. The other guy sneered and took out his phone. Hey. You won't shed a tear until you see the coffin. Right? Hello, brother Niu. I've run into a bit of trouble here. After hanging up, he looked at me smugly. President IU is on his way. And your class president, Zhu Yang. Let me give you a piece of advice. No matter how rich your family is, at Jiangcheng University, you have to follow the school's rules. Although he sounded arrogant, I agreed with what he said. You really should follow the rules at school. Jiangcheng University has produced many wealthy people. The network of connections accumulated over the years is truly not to be underestimated. Many are influential figures locally. I originally didn't plan to cause trouble at school, but hearing the other guy's tone, it was as if Jiangcheng University was opened by his family. Could someone really think that knowing a student union president means they can do whatever they want at school? The student union is indeed important. To a certain extent, the president's power is even greater than that of an ordinary teacher. But in the end, the student union is just a byproduct of the school. You can build connections through it. But once you leave the school gates, this title isn't worth a penny. Li Hei Yu Dong. And I looked at each other and smiled. Brother Jiang. What now? I shrugged. Let's just wait and see. What if they really did reserve the seats? Actually, I knew. This was just an excuse. The guy on the phone just now didn't mention this at all. It was clearly an excuse to steal the seats. Just finding a righteous-sounding reason to run into this kind of trouble just by watching a freshman welcome party. I am truly speechless. 5 minutes later, an angry roar came from the backstage entrance. What are you all doing? I was gone for a moment and you're already causing trouble. Isn't it just a seat? Is it that serious? Everyone turned around, only to see a flushed Zhou Yang walking over. As he spoke, he let out a drunken burp. The strong smell of alcohol hit our faces. Looking at this drunk class president, I couldn't help but frown. As the class president, he should be serving the class, but Zhu Yang normally doesn't manage anything. It's always Song Ye Qi who's busy. He's nowhere to be seen during today's activity. He's unreachable when something happens, and now he shows up reeking of alcohol, scolding us without even asking for the reason. He looks just like a little tyrant. At this moment, the whole class stared at Zhu Yang in shock. What are you looking at? Isn't it just a freshman welcome party? You can watch from anywhere. Zhu Yang said impatiently, then turned his head towards a man who looked slightly older and said fawningly, President Niu, please wait a moment. Get them to move. That President Niu just grunted lightly. He had clearly also had a lot to drink. Zhu Yang turned back to me. Normally, he was very polite to me. After all, He knew he couldn't afford to offend a young master Jiang like me. But today, emboldened by alcohol, his courage had grown quite a bit. It could also be that he wanted to show off in front of President NIU. You're just the health representative. Stop meddling in class affairs. Wouldn't it be better to just quietly get your credits? Zhu Yang glared at me with drunken eyes. I frowned. Zhou Yang, if you're drunk, go sleep it off. You're nowhere to be found when you're needed. Why are you jumping around now when you shouldn't be here? This sentence wasn't loud, but everyone heard it very clearly. Just as Zhu Yang was about to get angry, Lai Hu Dong cut him off. What's with the you? Figure out the situation before you act all high and mighty. You really think you're the center of the universe. Liu Yu and Qi Zhen also chimed in. We couldn't find you earlier when we were looking for you. What are you putting on airs for now? If you're drunk, just go to sleep obediently. What's the meaning of insisting on trampling your own people? All the male students were angry, and the female students were also frowning and whispering. Zhu Yang was embarrassed by me, already feeling wronged. Now, being contradicted by the whole class, he became even more angry and ashamed. I can't be bothered to talk nonsense with you all. Song Ye Qi, get them to leave within 3 minutes. Zhou Yang directly pointed his spear at the seemingly easy-to-bully Song Ye Qi. Song Ye Qi looked at Zhu Yang in silence. She had no intention of cooperating. President NIU said in a strange, mocking tone, Little Zhao, it seems you have no authority in your class. You can't even command your own classmates. How can I be assured of making you a department head like this? Zhu Yang's expression changed. He hurriedly thumped his chest and guaranteed, rest assured, President NIU, give me 3 minutes. I guarantee it'll make them give up their seats. Only then did I understand. It turns out Zhu Yang was sucking up to him for the position of a department head in the student union. Becoming a department head in his freshman year, his ambition isn't small. But to get ahead, he tramples on his own classmates. This is going too far. Zhu Yang, emboldened by alcohol, shouted at the female students, Song Ye Qi, didn't you hear what I said? Hurry up and lead them to give up the seats. Song Ye Qi bit her lip, not knowing what to do. I patted Liu Yu's shoulder. Everyone sit down. The party's about to start. Liu Yu understood. He told the classmates to sit down, completely ignoring Zhou Yang. Zhu Yang was so angry he jumped up. I didn't look up. That's enough. If you don't have the ability, don't try to force it. It's embarrassing. After speaking, I looked straight at President Niu. My meaning was very clear. If you want the seats, come and demand them yourself. Who the hell is Zhou Yang? President Niu narrowed his eyes. Zhu Yang still wanted to speak. President Niu stopped him with one hand. Don't embarrass yourself further. President Niu sneered. Your classmates don't care about you at all. He walked up to me, standing on the steps at my eye level. Brother. I cut him off directly. Who's your brother? President Niu was stunned for a moment. Ever since he became president, no one had ever dared to speak to him like this. He suppressed his anger. I've long heard that you have a hot temper. Today, my eyes have been opened. I have a hot temper? I laughed. The people from the student union are truly domineering. President Niu narrowed his eyes. Student, this is a school. You'd best not go too far. I spread my hands. Does President Niu want to teach me a lesson? As it happens, I've been a bit too full of myself lately. I could use some discipline. Looking at my impervious attitude, President Niu was completely stunned. In his 3 years in the student union, it was the first time he had met someone as stubborn as me. What gave him an even bigger headache was, he realized he couldn't do anything to me at all. Judging by the strength I've shown, my family's assets are at least 1 billion. We definitely have connections in Jiangcheng. The fact that I could call a lawyer directly to the school last time was the best proof. Why didn't the school administration interfere with this matter? President Niu could usually bully ordinary students, but against a tough nut like me, he was helpless. Student, let's go outside and talk privately. President Niu felt it was very humiliating to be refuted by me in front of everyone. He wanted to change locations to talk, but I couldn't be bothered with him at all. Cut the crap. Hurry up and take your people and get lost. So much trouble just to watch a freshman welcome party. You're gonna pull the school rules card on me. I turned my head and stared at that other class president. Come on, you tell me. Which school rule states, even President NIU couldn't do anything to me. That other class president dared not even make a peep. All his confidence came from President NIU. Having the student union president backing you is indeed very useful. But that trick wasn't working today. The class president stood there with an ugly expression, unable to say a word. This is the fate of a jackal borrowing a tiger's might. I gave a cold laugh and looked back at President NIU. Anything else? If not, hurry up and go sober up. These words were a public dismissal. President NIU finally couldn't take it anymore. Don't go too far. You really think I can't handle you? He was the student union president. After all, wouldn't it be easy to mess with me at school? Just then, a middle-aged man's voice rang out. Who do you want to handle? President Niu's face changed drastically. Everyone turned their heads to look, only to see a man with a beer belly, wearing a shirt and trousers walking over. Dean Zhao. Just a moment ago, the smug and arrogant Niu president immediately bowed and scraped, like a Japanese dog greeting its master. Do you still want to be this president? As soon as Dean Zhao arrived, he sensed the tense atmosphere. His gaze locked directly onto President Niu. President Niu was immediately terrified. In front of me, he could still put on airs, but in front of the dean, he didn't dare pull any tricks. I chuckled internally. Indeed, there's always someone stronger, but I couldn't be bothered to argue. As long as this could be resolved quickly, it was fine. As President Niu was led away, the crowd of onlookers also dispersed. Dean Zhao suddenly noticed Li Hudong. Hudong. Li Hudong greeted him awkwardly, Uncle Zhao. This Dean Zhao wasn't just a department head, he was also the vice principal of the school, second only to the principal. Dean Zhao asked kindly, came to watch the freshman welcome party? Li Hudong was even more embarrassed. I came with Brother Jiang. His father told him to be low-key. I am afraid the whole class knows now. Brother Jiang. Dean Zhao's gaze shifted to me. He clearly recognized a famous figure like me. I politely greeted Dean Zhao. Dean Zhao smiled and said, truly a talented young man. Come to my office for tea with little Dong someday. School has been in session for so long, and I still haven't had a chance to talk with you boys. This dean really knows how to talk. He took care of both of us. Take care, Uncle Zhao. Take care, Dean Zhao. We watched him leave. Before he left, Dean Zhao shot President Niu a glare. What are you standing there dazed for? Don't you know what tonight is? Running off to drink. I see you really don't want to be the president anymore. Dean Zhao was very polite to me and Li Hudong, but when he turned around, he scolded President Niu harshly. Everyone was stunned. The usually arrogant President Niu was now like a primary school student who had made a mistake, obediently following with his head down. Looking at President Niu's dejected back, I almost burst out laughing. I turned my head and said to Zhou Yang, class president, go home and sleep. Zhou Yang had a look of disbelief on his face. The high and mighty President Niu in his eyes had just tucked his tail and run. What else could he do? He had lost face in front of so many people. He could only leave dejectedly. They're gone. Do you guys still want to fight for the seats? I looked towards the group that had been causing trouble earlier. The ones who were just shouting about school rules were now all silent as cicadas in winter. The situation was compelling. President Niu had already been led away. Where would they get the courage to fight anymore? Besides, I didn't even give face to President Niu. Continuing to pester would just be a waste of time. Don't get cocky. The opposing class president still wanted to say some harsh words. I cut him off immediately. Don't wait for a next time. If you have the guts, call someone over right now. Or maybe you should call the other two presidents over. He was immediately speechless. Call the president? It would be useless even if he came. President Niu is the vice president of the university's student union. Even he couldn't resolve it, unless the dean could be invited. But would the dean even bother with such trivial matters? In the end, he could only snort coldly and led his people away dejectedly. After this commotion, I am afraid they were no longer in the mood to watch the performance. After that group of people left, Song Yechi clearly breathed a sigh of relief. It was lucky you were here this time, she said to me, a little embarrassed. After all, she was the one who called me over. I waved my hand. It's nothing. We'll be leaving first. Our friends are still waiting. I then greeted Liu Yu and Kei Zhen. Old Jiang. Old Li. If that group comes back, just call me. Liu Yu and Kei Zhen nodded. The other classmates all stared in a daze. Is this the benefit of having a big shot as a roommate? The vice principal and the dean both have his back. What's a student union president in comparison? Have fun, everyone. Wish you all a happy holiday in advance. After saying that, I left, leaving behind the still astonished classmates. I never thought he was so powerful. Nonsense. He's a rich second-generation kid. The important thing is, you can't tell it all usually. That's right. He's not like that show-off Zhou Yang. The more everyone talked, the angrier they got. Today, Zhou Yang's true colors were completely exposed. It's one thing that he usually doesn't care about class affairs, but at a critical moment, he helped outsiders bully his own classmates. I heard that he's trying to become a department head in the student union. He's completely shameless about it. Song Yaki suddenly said, I have the head teacher's phone number. Let's all sign a petition to replace Zhu Yang. I agree. A person like him doesn't deserve to be the class president. The classmates responded in unison. If I hadn't been here today, they probably would have really had to give up their seats, but it was my appearance that made everyone see Zhu Yang's true colors. Although Zhou Yang's three roommates didn't speak up, their expressions were very complicated. At first, they chose him as class president, just for convenience. Who would have thought it would turn out like this? To say they didn't have any issues with it today would be impossible. After hearing everyone's opinions, Song Yechi was silent for a moment. She did indeed have the intention of changing the class president. Even if the new class president usually didn't handle class affairs, as long as they could step up at critical moments, it would be fine. Letting Zhu Yang continue as class president meant not only would she have to do everything, but she would also get blamed from both sides when something happened. It was frustrating, just thinking about it. Okay, I'll contact the head teacher right away. Song Yechi made up her mind. She took out her phone and started composing a message. She really couldn't stand working with Zhu Yang for another day. Elsewhere, I was completely unaware that I was about to be inexplicably promoted. It was too noisy in the auditorium. I didn't hear my phone's notification sound at all. Besides, Shy Xiao was next to me. Who has time to play on their phone? Isn't it more fun to spend time with my girlfriend? Perhaps it was because we were about to be apart, and we were in the passionate stage of our relationship. The clingy way we acted made Li Xiaodong and Li Wanwan choose to simply ignore us. Pay a little attention. So many people are watching. Of course, I wouldn't do anything improper. If I ended up on the school forums trending topics again, it would be so embarrassing. I have to leave tomorrow. The plane tickets are already booked. A 2 p.m. flight from Jiangcheng to Shangcheng. When school started, I took an old train. Now that I have money, of course, I have to enjoy it a little. First class it is. The performance started at 8 o'clock and lasted until 11. We didn't have the patience to watch the whole thing. After all, they only rehearsed for 2 weeks. The quality of the performances could only be so-so. The main purpose of coming to watch the performance wasn't it to admire the beautiful upper-class women, but sitting so far away, we couldn't see clearly. After forcing ourselves to sit for an hour and a half, the few of us got up and left the auditorium. Just as I stepped out of the main gate, my phone suddenly rang. Seeing the message from head teacher Lei, I was stunned. The classmates have unanimously nominated you to be the class president. What are your thoughts? This message was sent an hour ago. Everyone has a big problem with Zhou Yang. They all want you to take over as class president. Another message was sent half an hour ago. The latest message said, Zhu Yang has been dismissed. Reply. As soon as you see this, I was completely bewildered. I didn't do anything. How did I suddenly become the class president? What's wrong? Xia Xiao linked her arm with mine, noticing my odd behavior. I showed her my phone. Li Xiaodong peeked over to look. He had a strange expression, like he wanted to laugh but was holding it in. I narrowed my eyes. Brother Dong, do you know something? Li Xiaodong quickly waved his hands. No, absolutely not. But in the end, he couldn't hold it in and burst out laughing. Xia Sai Yao handed the phone back to me. Isn't being the class president a good thing? I shook my head. It's too troublesome. I don't want to manage those trivial things. To be honest, with my current annual salary of tens of millions, I don't need to rely on the position of class president to build connections at all. Who knows how far it'll have developed a few months from now. I suddenly thought about my company that's about to be established. Would having these classmates come work for me be considered recycling waste? Once this thought popped up, I couldn't suppress it. Although first-year students have limited abilities, once they've learned their specialized knowledge, won't they be a ready-made source of manpower? It's so difficult for other companies to recruit graduates from Jiangcheng University. As for me, I just need to give them internship opportunities in their 3rd or 4th year. There will definitely be people who want to follow me. Living together for 4 years, you'll know best who is capable. Isn't this a ready-made opportunity? After leaving the school, the 4 of us found a milk tea shop. Xie, Si Yao, and Li Wanwan went to order, while I scrolled through the class group chat history. From the collective boycott of Zhu Yang as class president, to teacher Lei dismissing him, and then the whole class nominating me. I read through the messages one by one, then looked up and asked, Li Xiaodong, you're in the group. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I feel like Li Xiaodong is like a stumbling block. Stepping on it can help you climb higher, but you also have to be careful not to fall. Li Xiaodong said with a laugh, tell you earlier so you could refuse? Now the whole class supports you. If we change to someone else, would they agree? I looked at him in surprise. Since when did he become so perceptive? Li Xiaodong used to be just an ordinary rich second-generation kid. Now he's like a hidden master. He even analyzed the situation so clearly. The class now clearly supports me. Zhou Yang is isolated. Me becoming the class president is almost a certainty. Li Xiaodong suddenly saying this caught me a bit off guard. Although my dad manages a few hundred people, and I usually hear him talk about management, I didn't expect Li Xiaodong to understand these things too. Hee hee. Li Xiaodong laughed. I reacted immediately. Uncle Lai told you, right? He definitely told you to actively run for class president, but you were too lazy and didn't act on it. Li Xiaodong was stunned. It turned out that before school started, his father, Li Tianming, had told him to run for class president. He even analyzed the many benefits, but this guy found it too troublesome and refused to act. Today, seeing that everyone supported me, he just went with the flow to help me. Brother Jiang, don't worry. I wouldn't harm you. Li Xiaodong said with a laugh. Your company has just been established. You need connections and talent. Being the class president lets you get to know many people. If you can, it's even better to become the student union president. You can attract more talent. I didn't expect him and I to think alike. This idea is actually not bad. The salary the system gives me now seems like a lot. But later, when the rewards reach several million or tens of millions, it will be very suspicious if I don't have a legitimate company as a cover. I have to develop the company while it's still early. In the early stages, it'll rely on the system for a blood transfusion. In the later stages, I'll use the company as a cover. That's the long-term plan. Thinking of this, I directly took out my phone and sent a WeChat message to Teacher Lei. A few minutes later, a notification suddenly appeared in the class group chat. Following reports from classmates, Zhou Yang has harmed the collective interests during his probationary period. He is now dismissed from the position of class president, which will be assumed by student Jiang Chen. Teacher Lei tagged everyone in the group, and then tagged me separately again. The previously quiet class group chat instantly exploded. Congratulations to classmate Jiang Chen on becoming the class president. We finally got rid of Zhou Yang. What happened today was disgusting. Thank goodness. Teacher Lei is reasonable. With classmate Jiang Chen as our class president from now on, things will be great. I looked at the messages in the group and replied, "Thank you for your trust, everyone. I will do my best to do a good job." I still know how to say these kinds of pleasantries. Another round of flattery followed in the group. Just then, Teacher Lei sent another message. Considering this incident, the decision has been made to add the position of vice class president. Any student who is interested can come see me to apply after the National Day holiday. This news didn't attract much attention, but it was the result of a special discussion I had with Teacher Lei. I don't want to manage the daily trivial matters. Small matters can be handed over to the vice president. It's most reasonable for them to come to me only for major issues. Seeing that the group was still celebrating, I directly sent out 50 red envelopes, totaling 5,000 yuan. On average, each person could grab about 100 yuan. To me now, this little bit of money is nothing. In one day, I get over 50,000 yuan from the money wishes alone. I already earned it back just by watching the freshman welcome performance, but for ordinary students, this was simply too extravagant. Usually, getting a few yuan was already a big red envelope. Now it's 100 yuan per person, enough for 3 or 4 days of meals. I had just taken office and was already giving out benefits. The classmates felt even more that choosing me as class president was the right decision. Young Master Jiang is so cool. Thanks for the red envelope. Class president, got my bus fare home now. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival. Class president, the red envelopes I sent out were all snatched up in less than a minute. The group was full of cheers. After settling everything, I put away my phone and looked up at Li Xiaodong. This guy was still smirking slyly. I am rich. Brother Jiang, your red envelope is huge. I snatched 137 yuan. He pretended to stand up. Today's milk tea must be my treat. The three of us silently watched him act. As expected, after standing up, he suddenly feigned a realization. Oh my. Brother Jiang already paid. Hee hee. Well then, I won't be polite. I shook my head helplessly, and laughingly cursed him for being a drama queen. Li Xiaodong was really an eyesore, but having a friend like him wasn't so bad. At least college life wouldn't be boring. Many people don't even remember by the time they graduate what happened. Let's go. Seeing that Li Xiaodong had stood up, we also stood up. Xie Yao still had her arm linked with mine. In the passionate phase of love, she wished she could be stuck to me 24/7. Up ahead, Li Wanwan and Li Xiaodong were walking and stopping intermittently. Xie Xiao suddenly spoke up. Brother Zhang, I've already bought gifts for your aunt, uncle, and your younger sister. Remember to take them with you later. She lowered her head, a little shy. Although she couldn't go home with me tomorrow, she still remembered this. Why did you buy these things? I've already prepared a lot. I frowned slightly, not because I was stingy, but because I found it troublesome. This is the first holiday since we've been together. Xie Xiao gently shook my arm. Even though your parents don't know me, the courtesy can't be lacking. Please don't blame me. All right, I compromised again. Every time she acted cute, I was helpless. I'll get them down later. I'll bring them home tomorrow. Okay. Xia Xiao smiled happily. The gifts she bought weren't too expensive. She bought a jacket for my dad and bracelets for my mom and sister. A total of several tens of thousands of yuan. It was nothing to me, but some things have to be looked at relatively. These were gifts whose prices couldn't be revealed to my parents. It wasn't that I was afraid of them knowing I had money. It's just that, after they knew, there would be many things that couldn't be clearly explained. How could I explain giving my parents several 100,000 yuan at once? As a university student, from start to finish, I only had the living expenses my parents gave me. How could I have earned several 100,000? I could use the excuse of stock market investments to gloss it over with others, but with my own parents, my sixth sense told me absolutely not to do that. My parents would definitely keep asking questions. Instead of that trouble, it's better to wait until the company is established and then slowly tell them. A white lie is still a lie, but at least it's well-intentioned. Besides, I am not lying. I am just not being completely honest. Not being honest doesn't mean lying, right? I saw Xie Xiao off on her flight home first. Then I waited with Li Xiaodong. It was more than 2 hours until my flight. After giving Li Xiaodong a few instructions, I boarded the plane with 2 suitcases. The process of flying is very tedious, but the most annoying part is the waiting. Luckily, it was first class. I got to enjoy more conveniences. Some things really are you get what you pay for. Although I haven't experienced economy class, the first class experience was indeed not bad. The only regret was that there were too few flight attendants. On the flight, I used the data eye to scan the flight attendants. The scores the system gave them were quite high. After all, they were all beauties selected through multiple rounds. Covering myself with a thin blanket, I slept all the way to Changcheng. Although it was boring, this is the real flight experience. The feeling of waking up from a nap and having already arrived is very comfortable, especially with the gentle wake-up service from the flight attendant. Dragging 2 travel suitcases, I finally felt what annoyance was. Inside were all gifts for my family, mostly clothes for my mom and Jiang Xiao. One suitcase couldn't even fit it all. If I had known, I wouldn't have bought so much. After leaving the airport, I hailed a taxi and went straight home. The sky was getting dark. At this hour, my parents were probably busy. Looking at the familiar street scene outside the window, I suddenly had a feeling of returning home in glory. When I left, I was just an ordinary freshman. Now, my net worth is over 1,000,000 yuan. In the system space, there are also 2 90% discount cards. If I use them all, my assets will exceed 10 million. After 1 month of university, a net worth of 10 million. Can this be considered returning home in brocade robes? I took a deep breath, suppressing the nervousness in my heart. Next is the moment that tests my acting skills. I absolutely cannot let it show. I took the 2 suitcases out of the taxi. I strolled along the tree-lined path in the residential complex. Occasionally, I would meet old neighbors. Hello, Grandma Zhang. Oh, little Zhang is back. Is the school on holiday? I am back to see my parents. Hurry home. Come to my place for a meal when you're free. This kind of conversation repeated more than a dozen times in this old residential complex. Almost everyone knew me, a child who grew up here since they were little. I carried the suitcases up to the 6th floor. The corridor walls still had scribbles from my childhood. Luckily, the suitcases were full of clothes, so they weren't too heavy. I knocked on the door, but no one answered, as expected. I lifted the doormat and took out the spare key. The moment I pushed the door open, the lights were bright. The TV was showing a program. On the sofa was a girl in a loose t-shirt, dangling her long, fair legs, looking extremely playful. You little brat, when did you get back? You didn't even open the door when I knocked. I pulled the 2 suitcases into the house. I saw my younger sister, Jiang Xiao, curled up on the sofa. Got back yesterday. She didn't even look up. I knew it was you knocking. Mom and Dad aren't home anyway. Why be so formal between us siblings? As she spoke, she casually tucked her long hair behind her ear. Jiang Xiao is my twin sister. She was born just a few minutes after me. Although we're identical twins, we don't look that much alike. I could reluctantly be considered an 8/10 handsome guy, while she is a 9/10 beauty. But in my eyes, she'll forever be the little brat wiggling her feet in front of me. All right then, no presents for you. I carried my suitcase towards my room. Our house has 2 bedrooms and 1 living room. When we were young, we slept in a bunk bed. When we grew up, our parents used a plywood board to partition off a small room. As for soundproofing, it's practically non-existent. Don't. Big brother, Jiang Xiao did a carp jump, springing up from the sofa. She didn't even have time to put on her slippers properly before rushing over to grab the suitcase. Let me carry it for you. You go rest. Her eyes were glued to my suitcase. I didn't need to guess to know the presents were inside. I handed her 1 suitcase. This one's yours. The other one is for Mom and Dad. Don't go rummaging through it. Jiang Xiao giggled and took the suitcase. I've long been used to this personality of hers. If she had actually greeted me warmly, I would have suspected she'd taken the wrong medicine. After all, we grew up together since we were kids. We were inseparable from elementary to high school. We know each other too well. She knows I won't get truly angry, and I've never cared about these little tricks of hers. Jiang Xiao dragged the suitcase straight into my room. You were in military training for so long and didn't get a tan. I looked at her fair face and legs, a little surprised. Of course not. Jiang Xiao laughed smugly. As long as I protect myself well enough, the sun can't catch up to me. She eagerly placed the suitcase on the ground, about to open it. I quickly plopped down on it. Wait for what? Get up, quick. Don't crush my presents. She reached out to push me. I held the suitcase tight. Your older brother has been traveling for so long. I haven't even eaten. Aren't you going to ask how I am? Jiang Xiao rolled her eyes disdainfully. What older brother? You're only a few minutes older than me. A few minutes older is still your older brother. Are you going to cook this meal or not? I didn't budge. You're not tricking me again, are you? She stared suspiciously at the suitcase. You've done this quite a few times before. I shrugged. Believe it or not. Anyway, if I don't get to eat a meal you cooked, then don't even think about seeing the presents today. Jiang Xiao was so angry her eyes widened. In the end, she still had to compromise. I am warning you. If you dare trick me, tell Mom and Dad. Hearing the clattering sounds from the kitchen, I smiled and closed the door. I sent Xia Siyao a message telling her I was home. I intentionally didn't open the suitcase. This surprise should be left for Jiang Xiao to discover on her own, although we both know how to cook. After all, our parents are both Xiang cuisine chefs, but given her current state, I was really worried she would destroy the kitchen. I gently pushed the door open. I saw Jiang Xiao busy in the kitchen. This kid was actually cooking. It surprised me a little. She's only been in college for a month, and her personality has already changed. But seeing her like this, I was still quite happy. But the next second, I saw her grab a large handful of Sichuan peppercorns and throw them straight into the wok. Xiang cuisine has to be numbing and spicy. Numbing first, then spicy, for it to be authentic. I couldn't help but shout, "Jiang Xiao Xiao." She jumped in fright. Turning her head, she saw it was me. A hint of embarrassment crossed her face. "Brother, why are you here? The food's almost ready. Just wait a bit." I walked over helplessly. "What are you doing?" "Stir-frying vegetables." "What else?" "You should go out." She reached out to push me out of the kitchen, but how could I leave? If I really let her finish cooking, I am afraid it'd get poisoned. Looking at the stir-fried chili and peppercorns in the wok, and a washed potato next to it, I had no choice but to roll up my sleeves. "All right, you go out. I knew I couldn't count on you, Jiang Xiao." Xiao smiled sheepishly. It was a bit embarrassing to be caught red-handed. "The presents are in the suitcase. Stop getting in the way here." I scooped out half of the chili and peppercorns from the wok. I sliced the potato and put it into the wok. Jiang Xiao saw that I wouldn't let her help, so she turned and snuck into my room to find her presents. Compared to cooking, she indeed preferred unwrapping presents more. A few minutes later, while I was stir-frying the potato slices, I suddenly heard Jiang Xiao scream. She ran over in her slippers. "Brother, my fairy-like big brother, how did you know I've always wanted this Tiffany necklace?" She had opened the suitcase I brought back and saw the gift inside. Her eyes lit up. I have to say, this kid is quite knowledgeable. She could name every single gift. She hugged my arm and shook it vigorously. "When there are presents, I am her fairy-like big brother. When there aren't, I am that guy. This little sister is way too pragmatic. Move aside. I am cooking." I sounded impatient, but I was actually very happy inside. Jiang Xiao snatched the spatula. "Don't move. Let me cook today." I laughed and asked, "Are you afraid I'll poison it?" Yeah, it'll definitely be delicious this time," she promised shyly. I handed her the spatula. "Just so you know, if it's bad, you have to return the presents." In your dreams, 4 dishes and 1 soup were quickly served. The taste was surprisingly good. I could eat 2 large bowls. Jiang Xiao sat beside me, fiddling with the necklace, unwilling to let it go. "Brother, how did you suddenly get so much money?" she asked curiously. I knew she always liked these moderately luxurious items. Before, our family's financial condition wasn't good. To buy a 3,000 yuan necklace, she worked as a waitress at a restaurant for 2 months during the summer of her senior year. This persistence was just like mine. Although Jiang Xiao likes to dress up and likes luxury goods, she has her own principles. In this provincial capital city of Xiangcheng, there were quite a few rich, second-generation kids pursuing her. There was a whole crowd of them in high school, but she never dated anyone. According to her, those guys aren't even as handsome as my older brother. I really can't stand them. This sounded like she was praising me, but also like she was mocking me. But at least it proved she wasn't the type of girl who would abandon her principles for luxury goods. Oh, right, the 3,000 yuan necklace she's wearing now. "Brother, help me put it on." After fiddling with it for a while, she suddenly took off the necklace and handed it to me. I put down my chopsticks and fastened it for her. "Is it beautiful?" She struck a few charming poses. I said casually, "It's all right. At least it makes me temporarily forget your foot-wiggling appearance." "Brother." She pouted. But she was in a good mood today, so she didn't argue with me. She ran to the mirror and posed for a long time, took a few photos, and then reluctantly took it off and put it back in the box. "Brother, you still haven't said where you got the money to buy these things." She suddenly became serious. I continued eating. "As long as you like it. Why ask so many questions?" "Brother," her voice rose several octaves, "this is a necklace worth tens of thousands of yuan, and all those clothes, plus the gifts from Mom and Dad. The total value is over 100,000. Isn't it? Mom and Dad couldn't have given you that much money." "That's right. The living allowance Mom and Dad give is very little. She gets 2,000 a month, and I only get 800. This was all our family could afford to give. Our family's small restaurant business is just average. In a month, after deducting expenses, we only make about 10,000. Giving 1/3 of that to the 2 of us was already considered very generous. Giving me 100,000 at once was fundamentally impossible. Therefore, this money could only have been earned by myself. I knew I couldn't fool Jiang Xiao. And I was too lazy to make up a story. I had already thought of an excuse before coming back. Besides, I needed her cooperation to deceive our parents. I couldn't act it out alone. I earned it myself. Jiang Xiao looked suspicious. After high school graduation, I taught myself to play the stock market, using my living allowance to experiment. Unexpectedly, I actually made money. This can be verified. Moreover, with the system's authentication, there's no need to hide it. Hiding it from our parents is because I am afraid they'll worry. People of the older generation always feel that playing the stock market is no different from gambling. It's not as good as working hard. I thought Jiang Xiao would ask more questions, But unexpectedly, she directly picked up the necklace box, turned around and went into her room. When she came out, she had changed into a dress. Brother, is it beautiful? She spun around. Honestly, Jiang Xiao Xiao is very beautiful. She looks good in anything, but would I tell the truth? I put down my chopsticks, walked in front of her, observed her carefully, and then sighed. What's wrong? Isn't it beautiful? Everything else is fine. I feigned helplessness. It's just that your figure is a bit lacking. Why are you so flat? Did you stop developing after elementary school? Jiang Xiao Xiao's looks are top tier, but her figure has a small flaw, which is her slightly flat chest. But her long, slender legs, along with her height of 172 centimeters, would absolutely make most girls jealous. TSK, this figure. I teased her, intentionally. Jiang Xiao Xiao shot me a glare. She was used to my venomous tongue. She went to the mirror, spun around, and nodded with satisfaction. Then she went back to her room to change into another outfit. Xiao Xiao, when Mom and Dad get back later, you need to cooperate with me a bit, I said while finishing the rice in my bowl. She looked confused. Cooperate with what? Don't let Mom and Dad know I earn so much money. Otherwise, Mom will definitely take all the money and put it in savings, to save up for me to get married. I spread my hands helplessly. Jiang Xiao Xiao nodded in deep sympathy. Our family isn't actually poor. Mom and Dad run a restaurant. The income is stable, but Mom, really loves to save money. According to her, she's afraid of the poor days and believes in preparing for a rainy day. Dad, Jiang Jian Dong, also strongly agrees. I've advised them many times, but I couldn't sway them at all. As their child, I can only go along with their wishes. I can help you keep the secret, but you have to honestly confess how much you've actually earned. Jiang Xiao Xiao asked, narrowing her eyes. I quickly calculated in my head. Excluding the two 90% discount cards, I have over 4 million now, I said lightly. Only about 400,000.